Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And we back in the building. We got a lot to talk about tonight, right? Marcus already chirping about Kyrie Irving, RJ Barrett, fantasizing about the Knicks. Well, at least that's how the New York Post put it. Knicks like Jarett Culver. A lot to talk about, so we're going to get into it. All right? Let's rock. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Ring the notification bell. You get a notification anytime I go live, drop a video, put a post in my community, whatever it is. Just subscribe, because there's a lot going on with the New York Knicks this summer, and you're going to want to stay updated, and I got you. I'm going to keep you there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Cooked out, all that good stuff. It was nice outside. It was very, very, very nice weather. You know what I mean? I know I enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you cooked out and did all that good stuff. I hope you, if you got family members who are veterans, if you're a veteran, I hope you were well celebrated. Okay? Or I'm sorry, if you know fallen veterans, hope you celebrated them. But anyway, I'm back in the building, back in effect, already in the chat. We got Nate, we got Mark, we got OG Mark, we got somebody else that just knocked to get in. I'm not sure who it is yet, so we're going to get to those folks. All right? And we're going to talk Knicks. We're going to talk Knicks. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let Mark go ahead and get some stuff off his chest, because I know he has a lot to get off his chest already. And he got a haircut, ladies and gentlemen. He's looking young and chipper right now. You know what I'm saying? He was woofing out for a minute. You know what I mean? He got a haircut. He's looking young, chipper, and fresh. All right, so let's get to it. My man, Mark, what's popping, Mark? What's good with you, man?
What's going on, Sim? You already know what it is. It's nothing but Knicks time.
Yeah, listen, man. I see you looking fresh over there. You got a fresh cut. You know what I'm saying? I see.
Sometimes the black man gotta clean up. The sun is shining.
Okay.
It's time to stop woofing.
Because you was woofing for a minute out there.
Yeah, man, it was time to clean up. I'm not really the woofing, the bear type guy, but it is what it is. Black man got the cut, ready to rock and roll. Big summer, but listen, man, it's like the injury is killing me with KD, right? Okay. Because I think before the chat get on me, or just disagree with me.
Go ahead. I'm letting you get off. So I got the topics right on. It's just on Knicks news. We do have some things we really want to talk about. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna just let you get off for a minute, because I know you got to get some things off your chest.
I'm not upset, but I just don't like flaky people. And then again, as Knicks fans, we don't have the audacity to feel positive that KD's, even after this injury, because now as a person, Sim, if he doesn't play in the finals, that means the injury is bigger, because that's a calf injury, and he is very small at the legs. And on top of that, I don't want to be the Knicks organization again to pick up a player like that, even though it might not be severe, but then again, that's a calf injury. We don't really know. But what I've seen today in the video, the boy is limping. He's not skipping. He's limping. He's limping. And in a 2-week span of the playoffs, he might not play. And I'd rather him not come this year if he's not completely healthy. I'm so serious. I am so serious. You stay in Golden State for another year and come next year. I don't want no injury-prone player coming to the Knicks if they're not fully healthy. I'm not going through that again. I'm not paying a player, even as great as KD is, I'm not paying a player, because when he comes here, he's going to have to carry. And to have an injury like that is very scary for him to carry a whole roster. So I would rather go with the young guys, develop these young guys, get them seasoning, You know, we might end up in lottery again. You know, we might be decent enough to win games, might win 20, 25 games, collect assets, you know, taking bad contracts, get picks. So when he comes back and when he comes next year free agency, he will really have an outlook. He can really put a team together properly.
Okay.
So we can go. But that's my only thing. Because KD, we don't know KD, and he like they say, he could double back
He's
because of his injury.
emotional. He's very
He could double
emotional.
back.
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
Yep, there goes Mark. I knew he was getting ready to go off. You know, his picture froze with that ugly face up there. You know, man, I knew Mark was getting ready to cut off. He'll be back in. But I understand what he's saying. Listen, he's definitely right. I do not disagree with Mark. You know what I mean? I'm concerned about. I don't want to say I'm concerned about. Well, I am concerned about any player that's hurt, but I'm concerned about his injury and how serious it might be if the Knicks, you know, if he were to sign with the Knicks. Is it just a calf strain? Now, what I can say is I've had similar injuries, and it's not the type of injury. It's the type of injury that you can recover from, but it is not the type of injury that's going to go away in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be fully healthy. You know, so I don't know if that means, you know, that we should fear that coming, you know, when free agency comes, you know, it is going to be, you know, he's still going to be injured. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, it's something that we'll have to look at. Well, you know, the Knicks would need to have their doctors look at him and make sure that everything is on the up and up and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But it's definitely, it's a concern. It's a concern. You know, that we should have to, it's definitely a concern that we need to look at. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, man, I don't understand why Knicks fans are always freaking out, man. You know, when it comes to big time players, you know, if they get an injury, you know, I mean, here's the deal. On a scale of concern for me, it's about a 3. The deal is that they don't need KD to beat the Raptors. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine without KD. They know they're better without KD. They play better. Draymond plays better. Clay plays better. Steph plays better. It just look at the stats. The thing is, KD's trying to get paid. So why is he going to rush out there and have something come back and hurt himself again and screw up his free agency? You know, this is big for KD. He wants to be courted in free agency. So if you're a player who's hurt, you're not going to go back out there until you're 100%. And they don't need him. I mean, if they get down 2-0, maybe they talk about him coming back. But, I mean, they're not going to rush him back, Sim. They want him to get ready and be right for free agency. I think he's done with the Warriors. I don't think he plays in the finals. You know, and the Warriors are still going to win. You know,
well, he's definitely not playing game 1. He's definitely not going to be playing game 1. I guess we'll see what happens after that.
I'll go out on the limb. I don't think he's going to play in the finals, man. If the Warriors win the first 2 games, he ain't playing the finals. Okay. I'll promise you that.
I mean, you may be right.
Yeah, and like I said,
you may be right.
I mean, and honestly, Sim, okay, so let's say if it is a bad injury, Nick doctors, hopefully they've gotten better since the Amare situation. I mean, they're not stupid. They know that if we're going to put a lot of money on this player, they better do their due diligence on his medical records. And I think they will, you know, and if there's any hint of any kind of tear or anything like that, the Knicks either say, hey, you either take less money or no go. You know?
You know, to be honest with you, man, if there's any hints of permanent damage, I'd rather stay away. I mean, I am okay. I really am. I am okay if the Knicks do not get anything in free agency. If we just build with young players, I am 100% okay with that.
I don't want.
I could care less about. Listen, I could care less about, you know, the fact that we traded away KP and now we gotta, you know, I know Mark hates that we traded away KP and feels like we gotta get KD and Kyrie or whomever to make up for trading away KP. I don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? If we get Kevin Durant and he's healthy and we're able to put some pieces around him, I'm cool with that. If not, and we're just going with the young guys, I'm okay with that too. You know what I'm saying? We'll have a chance, we will build organically. You know what I mean? I'm okay. I'm cool with that. I have no problems with that at all. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried either way. I know there's a lot of Knicks fans that are. I'm not worried either way. I just want to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens, but I'm not worried either way. Not worried either way. Let me get down here to Gormo. Go ahead, Gormo.
Yo, what's good, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
First of all, Mark is funny because when we brought these injury concerns with Kyrie, he was like, "Oh, you got to. He's a blah blah play, man." Knicks fans, man, some of the guys just make me laugh. But anyway, first and foremost, Kevin Durant, to say that you don't need Kevin Durant against the Raptors. If I remember correctly, didn't Kawhi Leonard have the Warriors down like 23 points in the first quarter all by himself with the Spurs? So
yeah,
to say that the Warriors don't need Kevin Durant because of how they played against the Blazers, who they were down by 15 at least 3 out of the 4 games if I remember, at least down 15. So to say that is absurd. You can always use a superlative player like Kevin Durant. He's just a world class player. Like he's a top notch player. Kawhi Leonard's a machine. So to say that's kind of asinine. But to go on the KD front, Sim, like me, you, and Isaiah were the only 3 amigos. Other people in the chat room saying this. We're the only 3 people saying build this team up, build the philosophy, yada 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 yada. We've been preaching this. We were like, it doesn't matter what free agents want to come here, say they want to blah blah. You need a foundation regardless. We've been preaching that for how long? So now things might get touchy. Kyrie might not come. KD might not come. Kawhi's probably not going to come. And now people, but if we had a foundation, like say the Clippers, I'm not talking about having those type of players yet. We can't yet, right? But you have the front office that's in tune with the owners. You have the players, you have the system, or at least something, right? So where even that when you're trying to fail and trying to flop and tank, you actually end up making the playoffs because you have such a strong foundation, a philosophy of culture, of system, and you have players who can play to some type of modicum of success in that system. Me, you, and Isaiah have been saying this, and we got killed because the Sayers are going to come and save the Knicks. And look what's happening now. So, I don't wish for us to not get any free agents. Obviously, I would like some top-notch free agents to come over to the Knicks. But if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be laughing, Sim, because me, you, and Isaiah, we've been preaching that we should work from the bottom up Bensons. And if we get left out on the devices, we're going to have to draft a guy like RJ Barrett. We're going to have to develop some of the point guards we have. We're going to give a big contract to Kemba Walker. You know what I mean? So it is like we've been saying all this time, Sim, you got to build a foundation. If the players come, they come. Kawhi Leonard is not going to, he's probably going to go to Clippers. Why? Because they have Jerry West, who's one of the greatest GMs of all time in any sport. And they have a great system. So, I mean, you're going to attract stars or players if you have a good system. So, all this stuff about us, these free agents, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, so I'm looking in the chat and I see Big Timer. I see a couple of people saying, Sim doesn't want to win. This is our summer. And listen, I do want to win. The one thing that if you go back and you look at any of my streams, and some of the streams are really long, so I know you're not going to be able to go back and check them all out. But the one thing I've always said is that I want to have sustained winning, right? Yes. Not just a 3 or 4 year window where we are winning and we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and then we get kicked out, right? And then, whatever happens, players leave, people get hurt, whatever happens. We've seen the story before, right?
Yep.
But I'm not saying I don't want to win. All I'm saying is if we do not get Kevin Durant or Anthony Davis and somebody else, I'm okay.
Exactly.
I'm okay because we still have, we can use that cap flexibility in the future.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
If we don't get it, can I say one more dangerous thing with the way that we're approaching our team build, think about it this way, right? And it's probably hard for some people to comprehend. When you look at teams that have a strong system versus strong players, right? When you are trying to build around that team, right? When you have strong systems, right? You're trying to build based on how the system is run. And if you're going to get a superstar player, they're going to come and want to play in that system, not necessarily because they want to be the man or whatever, right? Look at the Warriors. As great as the Warriors were before Kevin Durant, not necessarily he had friends, blah, blah. Kevin Durant still went to the Warriors and played within that system. Yes, in the past year, whatever, they've depended on Kevin Durant a little bit more. But when he came, he had to fit in that system, and they succeeded only by him playing that system. Now, a great opposite of that is what we say with the Knicks. Even though we didn't really build that well with Carmelo, we had so many different factions, right? You had the owner. At first, you had a coach that wanted to build his system, D'Antoni, and you had an owner who wanted to build around Carmelo. Then it got all bogged down when you start changing GMs, changing coaches, blah, blah. You never built towards a system. So we didn't have sustained success, regardless if Carmelo Anthony was healthy or not. You were building around what you thought the player you wanted to play with Carmelo Anthony. When Mike Woods was here, blah, blah, blah. That's why things were fuzzy when Linciani was here, when D'Antoni was here trying to install a system. You had the owner who really wanted Carmelo, so it's like, no, let's play the Carmelo style. So that's a danger that you have when you try to load teams with a bunch of free agents who've never played together, who have really no blueprint, no map to play in playing together on that team. The most important thing, like I said, is to build to a system. You have a sustainable system, and if you have to change and tweak that system, you can change and tweak that system. And when we're gearing, Kyrie, see how Kyrie Irving played with the Celtics. He has that mama mentality. Now you're going to build around Kyrie, even if his way of winning may not be sustainable. Same, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I do want to win. I just want sustained success. I don't want to be, a 2, 3. That's what happened with Melo. As a matter of fact, happy birthday to Carmelo Anthony.
All right, Jim. All right, let's get
happy birthday to my man Melo.
All right.
But I want sustained.
Oh, can you let Isaiah? My bad. I mean, cut you off. Can you let Isaiah?
Yeah. I let him. I want sustained winning, right? Sustained championships for years and years and years to come. I don't want to be a 3-year flame out. You know what I mean? I want winning. You know what I mean? Let me get around to everybody. Then I'm gonna come back to Mark, because I know Mark, got to get some things off. He had to go put a Scully, a little hat on or whatever. So that's probably why his stuff, he had to go get the little hat on. Yeah. Big Freezy, what's popping, man?
Hey, what's up, fam?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, hold on for a second, man. Everybody talking, man. I can't even hear you. My bad, man. Hey, so, hey, man, I'm good. I've been checking the news and everything, man. Been seeing all of these Knicks rumors. It's refreshing to see something, positive in the media about the Knicks. But I wanted to say something though. This cat Nate that be in the chat, he is crazy, dog. What is he talking about?
Who, Nate?
What is Nate talking about?
I don't know. I'm letting him back in. You can ask Nate. What did he talk about? Go ahead and ask him.
I like to do a G stuff. Nate, I heard Nate say that this dude might not play because he hurt and all this stuff. Dude, you play for one reason, and the other stuff come with it. You play to win. No. I mean, the Jets had a coach that said you play to win games. You don't just get in this NBA lifestyle just so you can change locations and all that stuff.
No, I agree with you, but
dog, if KD. But what? Okay, so you're not gonna rush them back. What are you saving them for? Golden State is basically have a line in the sand. If they don't play this dude, they may lose to the Raptors. Plus, he may never play for Golden State again. The dude's a free agent.
Man,
you gotta play this dude.
That they'll beat the Raptors easily.
But see, I think Freezy. I think what Nate was saying is that KD may not want to play because he doesn't want to chance further injury because he has free agency coming up. I think that's what he was saying. Not that Golden State wouldn't play him.
A lot of players do that. They hold out because they want to win. They want to get big money. They don't want to have another injury because it lowers their value and of what they want.
Right, but KD is not this dude that's obsessed with the bag. KD is obsessed about his legacy. This dude doesn't want to be considered the 17th best player at his position all time. This dude, okay, y'all can talk about this money all you want. KD can tear his Achilles and teams will still give him a max. Period. So y'all talking about a calf injury. Okay, whatever, man. Golden State is in the NBA Finals. These dudes can win 3 championships in a row. That's legacy cementing status there. When's the last time a team won 3 championships in a row?
But
Michael Jordan did it.
But I think that's one of the big reasons.
Right, the Lakers. You're right.
But see, that's one of the big reasons why he may be trying to leave Golden State because he's not feeling like his legacy is being cemented while he's playing for Golden State because he's kind of second fiddle to Steph Curry. That's part of the reason why at least the rumor is out there that's part of the reason why he wants to leave Golden State so that he can go to a team that's his own, win with that team, and cement his legacy. Because the question, I guess the question is always out there: if he stays with Golden State, is he going to have the kind of legacy that he wants, or did he just ride the coattails of an already good team?
Hey, and listen, Sim, I know you a G. You an old timer, man, seasoned vet to all this stuff, right? So I'm gonna hit the young cats with a parable, right? So here's the thing: cats are like, yo, KD doesn't want to be second fiddle, but what they don't realize is second fiddle is sitting next to first fiddle and you still in the concert, dog. That's what I'm saying. People are like, yo, KD want to be such and such and such and such. Nah, dog. KD wants to win just like everybody else that play the game. Like if me and you, right. So if me and you balling, you're not going to be out there like, yo, Freezy, I'm just out here just for some cardio. You want to win. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the thing that gets understated in this entire process. And the reason why vets take the minimum to go play for a contender is because dudes play this game to win championships, period. You don't play for 8th place. You don't play for 6th place and a big check. You play to win, man. You play to win. Look at all that effort. Look at all the effort these dudes give playing through injuries and all that stuff. They don't do it for checks.
I mean, I think some of them do. Some of them do it for checks. I think some of them do. Right. There's definitely some of them that do it for checks. I mean, your major players, your major stars, the ones that have that drive to be the best. Nah, they don't do it for checks. Right. I mean, they do.
Right.
Literally, in a literal sense, they do because they get paid for it, but their heart is in it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And most likely, every one of those players that made the NBA, if they didn't make the NBA, would be hooping someplace anyway. I get you there.
Right. And my point was the dudes that consider GOATs, the dudes that get considered GOAT status, the dudes that get considered to be GOATs or at least in the conversation, they do it for their legacy, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gonna. I guess we're gonna find out what KD is doing it for, man. Let me get around. Let me get to I'm gonna get the OG Mark. Then I'm gonna come to Isaiah and Ant. All right. OG Mark, what's good, man?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, Sam. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I figured we had to get through. KD and Kyrie, and then we're gonna get to some other stuff, man. But what do you think? Is Kyrie going to go to the Lakers? Is he going to go to the Lakers? Is he going to be a Knick? Is he going to go to Brooklyn?
Honestly, I think his decision was made a while ago, just the same way that I believe that KD's mind was made up.
Okay.
I think if anybody changes their mind about Kyrie, it would be the Knicks pulling out to go with Kemba. But I think that all things being the same, I think I'd expect them both to be in New York next season.
So you think it's all just smoke and barrels, just to
That's
throw
exactly
people
what I
off.
think.
That's what you think it is. It's smoke and barrels, throw people off.
You know, I think a lot of this stuff that we see, that's just starting to, rumors starting to pop up now. Even with the Lakers, I think that a lot of it is just smoke because the NBA is trying to clean its image up a little bit because there's just too much obvious deals being made all over the place, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's going to happen. That is going to happen. This whole the whole tampering rule and all that kind of stuff, it's going to happen regardless. I don't care what anybody says. Deals are going to be done, made, put in place way before. Well, I guess you can negotiate anytime, but deals are going to be put in. You can negotiate with other teams. You can't negotiate with players. Teams can't, at least, but it's going to happen anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And the talk about, KD's, calf injury, I think, I don't think KD is in a rush to get back to a team that's basically seems like they don't really appreciate him. I'm trying to put it as politically polite as I can. So I think that there's a monkey wrench that got thrown into that engine. And I think that you're just hearing a lot of the noise from it,
Okay, all right. We're gonna see. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's coming up quick. We're already into June. I mean, well, we're not into June yet. We're about to be into June, right? It's May 29th, about to be May 30th. We're gonna be into June very soon, in a couple of days. June 30th, 6 p.m. Free agency starts, and I will be on live June 30th at 6 p.m. I'm going to be on so we can cover free agency, and I'll be on for a few hours too. We'll be talking about free agency and things that's happening. We'll definitely be on live because it's going to be, it's going to be smoking. It's going to be smoking. Let me get around. Let me get to Isaiah. You know what I mean? Everybody went and got fresh cuts and whatnot. Isaiah looked like he got a little fresh cut. Mark got a fresh cut, but he covered it up. You know what I'm saying? And then look, Mark put what's that say? Kyrie is soft if he goes to the Lakers. Mark is so corny. Mark is a corny dude. He put it on his thing. I just peeped that. Go ahead, Isaiah. What's good, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's up, sir? How you doing, man?
I'm good.
I'm
What's
feeling
going
good,
on, man?
I didn't get to catch on the last show because you did like 3 shows in a row, and I was like, I'm not doing the third one, man.
Yeah.
God bless you though, but that third one, I was like, nah, I'm gonna be knocked out.
That's the grind, bro. That's the grind. That's the grind. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do something, let me tell you something. Right? I have a master's degree in business administration, and the biggest thing that I learned getting my master's degree is perseverance. That's the biggest thing that I learned. Perseverance. You just gotta want it. You can do whatever you want. You just gotta want it and go get it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a drive. You know what I mean? The same way you go to B2K concerts. Like you gotta drive to go see B2K.
Stop. We gotta end this one day because I'm gonna fight some of these people in these comments.
We're not gonna end it until you go to another concert.
Look, man, I took my lady. Can we talk about when I took my lady to the Knicks game? Can I say that? Can we talk about that? You can't talk about my lady to the Knicks game?
Who was performing at the Knicks game when you took her?
Who was performing?
Anybody? Probably B2K. I don't know.
No.
Anyway, go ahead, man.
We was there.
Yeah, man. You got some comment. You got some, because I just want to move through the whole KD and Kyrie thing, and so we can get to talk about RJ Barrett and Jarett Culver and all that. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? So I didn't even think it was going to be a lot of news coming up this week. I knew the RJ Barrett thing was news because I heard a couple of people talk about it. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I'm excited for RJ Barrett, man. Really excited. You know what? With KD, man, I mean, look, a lot's going on with KD. Nobody really know. Oh man, this dude Mark got the wildest face frozen right now. Yo, this dude got the wildest face frozen. Yeah, man, but I'm excited for. Look, people gotta understand, man. If KD is really seriously injured, I mean, I heard what Grandma said. Because I was watching it when I was driving home. Look, man, I'm totally fine if he's really injured. I'm totally fine with him not coming. People got to stop listening to. No disrespect to ESPN, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. Stop listening to these guys and really listen to the real Knicks fans that are like you, Sim, and a couple like people like Posting and Toast and all these guys that talk about the real stuff, man. The Knicks have never been in a position where we have options. Never like this, where we have options to go many different routes. Yeah. And I'm totally fine with building from the ground up, taking on bad contracts, getting draft picks. I'm totally fine going that route, man. People are making this summer be the end all be all. It's really not. People gotta understand the Knicks are in a great position to do many great things, man. And it's like people are so blind because they see KD move to they see that KD moved his house. He moved to New York. They see the stuff like that and they get excited. And look, man, hey, listen, there's still a possibility he might not come. That could just be a summer home. We don't know. That could be a summer home. And I'm not trying to put the negativity in there.
No, I got you. We don't know. And it could be that, there's something else. There's another reason why he decided to, purchase a home in New York City. He's got a business here. And it could be, listen, I'm gonna purchase a home next to my, where my business is. So in the off season, I can go home and run my business no matter where I live. The reason why I was listening to whoever I was listening to, I don't know, but they were saying the reason why KD sold his home in Oakland is not everybody's selling their home because they're moving, because the Golden State Warriors are moving to a new location. So everybody is selling their home, right? Because it's a distance from that location. So they're selling their homes. Not everybody, but a lot of people, they're selling their homes so they can be closer to the new location, right? Him purchasing a home in New York City, I don't put much stock in it because, these players, LeBron was in Miami, owned a house in LA, right? I mean, obviously he ended up going to LA. These guys got money and they can do that. And sometimes it could be for different types of reasons. It could be for tax reasons, different types of reasons these guys purchase homes, not only to live in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So but Sam, I just wanted to say before you move on to somebody, and you've been talking about this, and I wish people would really listen to you. I really wish they would, because people had to understand, Sam. If the Knicks don't get KD or Kyrie, we will be fine. I just wish a lot more Knicks fans would understand that if we don't get, this is not the end. This is not 2010. This is not 2010 where you got all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, we are fine. Look, do I want KD and Kyrie? Of course, every Knicks fan wants KD and Kyrie. But if we don't get it, we are still in prime position. People got to look past, same old Knicks. This is not, listen, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. And I really got to comprehend basketball probably when I was like maybe middle school to high school. The Knicks have never, what I've seen, been in this position.
Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. Sometimes I gotta cut Isaiah off because he'll go around in circles and say the same thing like 5 times, just in a couple different ways. So sometimes I just gotta abruptly cut him off. You know what I mean? Wow, man. I just gotta do it. But anyway, let's move on, man, because let's move on from talking about KD and Kyrie. I don't want them to dominate the show. They're not even part of the Knicks yet. Let's talk about RJ Barrett. All right. RJ Barrett Tuesday there was a pro day. Not just RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett's agent had a pro day for players that he represents. Now, RJ Barrett did not play. He did not work out. He did not show off his skills to any of the teams there, but he did do some interviews and he did talk to the New York Knicks. All right. And, from what he says, from what RJ Barrett says, it was a positive, very positive interview, which you would expect. Well, let's hear from RJ Barrett. No sense in me telling you. We're gonna hear from RJ Barrett. All right, let's just check out what RJ Barrett had to say.
I mean, it'll be a lot of fun, definitely playing in the Garden, it's bright lights, and they have so much history down there. I mean, it would be amazing.
How was your meeting with them in Chicago?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. I was very comfortable. We had a great and, honest conversation, so it was good.
Do you have any plans of working out for them?
As of right now, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, so we'll see.
What do you think of the Knicks crew, Fizdale and the crew there?
Yeah, I mean, Fizdale's a great coach. They have a great crew there. I know Kevin Knox. So just to see, and Alonso Trier. So to see the team that they have, we'll see what happens.
I'm not saying it would happen, but if something happened and they put you in part of a trade and you wind up, say, New Orleans, what would that do?
That would be cool too. I mean, that would be cool too. Really, I'll still be, in the NBA, still being able to live out my dream. So it'll be fun.
I was just talking to Pat Riley, and I covered Bernard King many years ago, and both of them said great things about you, especially Bernard. And to hear that and having a New York background, is that special as well?
Bernard King said something great about me? Wow, that's really he's one of the best. So, definitely honored. Very, very, thankful for everything.
Have you spent much time previously in New York or Tennessee or New Orleans or any of the places that have been talked about as potential destinations for you?
New York, I used to go up there every summer because, like I said, I have family there. So that's where my mom grew up. So definitely, been there a lot.
You had pretty much a historic season for a guy your age at Duke, incredible numbers. Do you feel like you maybe didn't almost get the credit you deserve for the type of year you had?
I feel like being a top pick in the draft, that's credit enough. I don't really look for the spotlight. I don't really look for any of that stuff. I just want to play basketball.
How excited are you for draft night?
Oh, I can't wait. I've dreamt about it since I was a little kid, so I'm really excited.
Watching the way the playoffs have evolved with, wings playing such heavy playmaking roles, you look at, Kawhi and Harden, it's not like really a point guard game anymore. It's more like a wing game. How does that suit your strengths, and how do you see that translating?
I love being a wing because I feel like they could, play the point guard position a little, but then they could also, get down there, down low with the bigs. So I feel like that's the perfect position to be. And I'm really excited to see how my game translates.
All right, now. What I do want to say,
I'm just trying to come in and make an impact.
Let me stop this. Okay, there we go. What I do want to say is, some of these reporters get on my nerves. Really, they do. They get on my nerves, man, because that one guy, it was like he was trying to draw a wedge between Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, right? So we asked him, you had a great season, an historic season at Duke, or somewhat of an historic season at Duke, but do you feel like it was overlooked? Clearly, he was trying to get at Zion Williamson, got all the hype, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I think RJ Barrett handled it very, very well, in my opinion, because it seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I just felt like the guy, why ask that question? Why? I don't know what the purpose of that question was. You know what I mean? It just felt like to me like he was trying, and obviously those guys are friends, right? I don't know, but he spoke glowingly of the New York Knicks, as you would expect, and really does sound like he would love to be a New York Knick. His father played for St. John's. His mother went to St. John's. His mother is from Brooklyn. So he has some New York City roots. Listen, the one thing I'm going to say is, let's New York Knicks, Scott Perry, Steve Mills, let's not overthink this draft pick. You know what I mean? Let's not overthink it. Although we are going to talk about another guy, but let's not overthink it. You know what I mean? Because if we overthink it, that's when you start to get yourself in trouble. Tony Crow, what's good, man?
What's going on, son? Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black, it's time.
I'm chilling, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. What we talking about?
Right now, we talk about RJ Barrett. Does he want to play? Does he want to be a New York Knick? You know, we just listened to his interview with SNY TV, and you know, it sounds like to me like he does want to be a New York Knick. He would like to be a New York Knick.
Yeah, he got New York ties.
Yeah, he's got New York ties, right? Do you think that the Knicks need to just make the draft easy, not think too much into it? Or are you afraid that the Knicks are going to think too much into it?
Nah, I think the top three are consensus. Like I don't think the only way they could make a different choice is by trading down. You know what I mean? Like whether it's Ja, RJ, Zion, I think they're the top three no matter who picked where. You know what I mean?
Okay, because you know, I know there's people out there that just are afraid that the Knicks are going to think too much into this draft pick. You know, try to get fancy and funny.
What you see is what you get. That means no added.
My bad. Oh. 1 second, Tony. 1 second, Tony. Just give me 1 second. I gotta get some of this, some of this sound stopped. I accidentally hit a button that I shouldn't have hit, and I think I am good now. And go ahead, Tony. My bad.
Nah, it's all good. What was I saying? I think you gotta do your due diligence. So you gotta work out maybe 7, 8 guys.
Uh-huh.
So then it comes down to, does somebody outside of that 3 impress you that much?
Right.
You can't really fault, like, if you work out 4 or 5 other guys other than these top 3, and somebody impresses you that much, I think you got to go with your gut. You know what I mean?
Agree.
You got to trust yourself. You know what I don't like? I mean, like last year, we heard about Kevin Knox going head to head with one of the Bridges. I forget which one.
Yeah.
But that you don't see that often. You know what I mean? And I think that would be the real determining factor. If you could get RJ to go up against what's his name? Culver, I think his name is.
Jarett Culver. That's next guy we're gonna talk about. But yeah, Jarett Culver.
But yeah, like if you could get, that's what I really liked about Kevin Knox last year, because he insisted on playing head to head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let me show what I could do against this guy. And I don't think it was anything personal against Miles. I think it was just, let me show against somebody instead of just shooting the ball and letting you watch what I could do. You know, and that's taking a risk. That's taking a risk. I love that.
Yeah. Now, does it
wish
concern
more people would do it.
Does it concern you at all? He hasn't worked out. Now, he may only work out for the Knicks, but when they asked him if he's going to work out, you know, he was just kind of like, I don't know. You know, these guys, agents, they have agents that kind of tell them who to work out for, not to work out for, if they're going to work out at all, and those type of things. Would you be concerned if he did not work out for the Knicks?
Personally, no, because I've pretty much watched every game, every Duke game this year.
Mm-hmm.
And him in particular, he's actually, like, I kind of like him more than Ja personally. And I'll say it again, I feel like he has a chance to be a better pro athlete than Zion.
Okay.
Like, he has more all-around skills. At least he's shown more all-around skills. Then you take in the fact that he's actually a year ahead of his draft class. Like, he shouldn't even be in the draft this year. So, taking all that stuff into consideration, I would take him whether he does a physical workout or not. But then again, it's just that tough situation when you got other guys that are going to give workouts, are going to show what they have. Somebody may just impress you that much.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
exactly.
I think that's a risk he's taking, and that kind of scares me a little bit just because I really feel like we should get this guy if he's available. I actually think we may even want to think about moving up if that's who we really want. Because I remember I called you the other day and I asked you about if hypothetically the Pelicans want to pair RJ with Zion, if the Lakers do something and try to move up just to ensure they get RJ, just to ensure they get AD, you know what I mean? Where does that leave us? I mean, we still get Ja, but I mean, it's a whole bunch of tricky things that could go on.
Yeah, and workouts are going to the beginning. We're going to talk about Jarett Culver, who is going to work out for the Knicks, and I'm pretty sure Ja Morant will probably work out for the Knicks. I think RJ Barrett will probably work out. He'll probably work out for Memphis and the Knicks. Maybe he works out for the Pelicans. If his agent thinks that the Pelicans would do something crazy and pass on Zion Williamson, which I doubt, but he may work out for the Pelicans just in case there's the possibility of a Knicks trade with the Pelicans for Anthony Davis, right? You see the reporter there asked him about, how he would feel about playing for the Pelicans, and he was like, that'd be awesome too. I'm in the NBA, basically. He's like, I'm in the NBA, so wherever I'm playing, I'm going to be happy with. I like to hear that from the young man.
Sim, I'm interested in who's your player comparison for RJ?
My player comparison, I kind of feel he kind of reminds me of Ron Artest at St. John's. And when Ron Artest was like a 20, probably not the defensive player, but when Ron Artest was a 20, was grabbing 20 points a game and playing that great defense. I don't know if he's the same type of defender, but he kind of reminds me of that, probably a little more athletic than Ron Artest. At that time. That's who I kind of liken him to a little bit from what I've seen of him play. A better passer, a better playmaker, and I think a better scorer as well. But I just feel like that kind of a style, like he's not super duper uber athletic where he's flying over top of the rim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think he might be a little more athletic.
Yeah, a little more athletic.
A little less of a defender.
Yeah, but I kind of see, like, I kind of just, I don't know. I just kind of see that a little bit. I don't know. Hopefully he has that same kind of dog in him that Ron Artest had when Ron Artest was, was that all-star caliber player. Hopefully he doesn't have the craziness that Ron Artest had, though. Ron Artest used to wild out a little bit. As a matter of fact, Ron Artest is. There's a documentary coming out, where he's gonna, talking a little bit about Quiet Storm, right? Talking about Queensbridge and everything. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty dope, man. That's gonna be pretty dope. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it on the front stoop for sure. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? It can cross over the front stoop and here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, when Ron Artest came, I wanted so bad for Ron Artest for it to work out. When Meta World Peace came and played for the Knicks, what did he play for, a year?
About year and a half.
Right. I really wanted it to work out. You know what I mean? I was mad that they passed on. I think everybody was mad that they passed on. He was Ron Artest at the time. Passed on Ron Artest to pick up the French dude. You know what I mean? I think everybody was kind of mad at that. Everybody was mad at that. It was like, yo, what are you doing? Are you serious? Like, because, Ron Artest was a baller.
That might be the first off-season that I recall where it's like that might have been the beginning of the Bulls for the Knicks in the draft.
Yeah.
I don't ever recall.
That's true.
I don't recall the Bulls prior to that. Real quick, I do want to listen in when you talk about the next guy. But what do you think of? Because my player comparison for RJ right now is Jalen Rose.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Yeah, Jalen Rose too. Yeah. Yep, he's like a Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose was when I was in high school. Jalen Rose was my favorite player. I wore number 5, and that became my number because of Jalen Rose. That became my number. You know what I mean? Number 5.
Nice.
Yeah. That became I used to love the way Jalen Rose plays. The whole Fab Five was dope, but Jalen Rose was my dude. But yeah, I think I agree with you too. You know what I mean? I think Jalen Rose is a pretty good comparison. I don't know if he's as much of a point guard. Like Jalen Rose was a point guard till he got a little bit older. Didn't really have the speed. Then he was able to move over to the 3 a little bit, to the 2 and the 3.
You know why I say Jalen though? Because I think just off back, Jalen Rose, he knew he had 4 guys to pass to.
Yeah.
So I think that's why his assist numbers were where they was. But I think like watching RJ, he knows how to get the ball into the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of played the point guard even though he didn't. He kind of played that point off guard or point 3. You know what I mean? Like he really passed the ball well inside to Zion. He swung the ball well on threes. I think people saying he had tunnel vision. I mean, granted, it was 4, almost 5 assists. I don't think that was tunnel vision, especially not being the primary point guard. I think he could have gotten 10 assists easily, and maybe that's why people say he had tunnel vision.
Yeah, and look, the NBA game is a little bit more wide open, right? Also, he had 5. What do you have? Is 5 assists in college. In the NBA, if you're playing for the right team, the Knicks. We'll see. How the Knicks turn out after the free agency in the offseason, but guys should knock down more shots in the NBA. Right, so hopefully you would hope that maybe his assist totals, if he's playing the same type of position, you would hope that the assist totals go up. And the one thing I would like to say though, when I hear a lot of people, say he's a black hole, right? We can only wait and see what he does in the NBA, but at the very least, in the interview that we just heard, he's like. He don't care about the spotlight. He just wants to hoop. He just wants to play and win. And that tells me that if he's on a team where there are guys who are better than him, he may not be too worried about it. He may not be that ball hog type of guy or black hole type of player. He may be very willing to pass the ball.
Yeah, I think he will be. I think he like I said, he knew how to feed Zion. So that right there, I think he could double those assists that he got inside to Zion. I think he could double that on any NBA team because the bigs are going to be that much better.
Right.
And then his perimeter passing wasn't bad either. He's just had a score first mentality.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this is gonna work out. Hopefully, he works out for the Knicks. Works out for teams and things. I think he probably will. I'm gonna get here to the video chat, Tony, and see what some of these guys thinking.
No doubt.
All right, and if I don't talk to you later on tonight, I'm gonna definitely talk to you tomorrow night on the front stoop.
No doubt, yo. I'm gonna be up late, so if you got time, hit me up later.
I bet.
All right,
All right,
peace. Blackest time. Shout out to the chat.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, RJ Barrett interviewed with the New York Knicks. He did not work out for the New York Knicks or any other teams during the pro day, but he did interview with the Knicks and maybe some other teams. But it sounds like in the interview, he likes the New York Knicks. And if you haven't heard it, I'll play it one more time so that you can hear it, and then we'll come back to the appearing and talk to some of the guys in the appearing. But it sounds to me like RJ Barrett likes the New York Knicks. All right, so let's take a listen.
Definitely playing in the Garden, it's bright lights, and they have so much history down there. I mean, it would be amazing.
How was your meeting with them in Chicago?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. I was very comfortable. We had a great and honest conversation, so it was good.
Do you have any plans of working out for them?
As of right now, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, so we'll see.
What do you think of the Knicks crew, Fizdale on the crew there?
Yeah, I mean, Fizdale's a great coach. They have a great crew there. I know Kevin Knox. So just to see, and Alonso Trier. So to see the team that they have, we'll see what happens.
I'm not saying it would happen, but if something happened and they put you in part of a trade and you wind up, say, New Orleans, what would that do?
That would be cool too. I mean, that would be cool too. Really, I'll still be, in the NBA, still being able to live out my dream. So it'll be fun.
I was just talking to Pat Riley, and I covered Bernard King many years ago, and both of them said great things about you, especially Bernard. And to hear that and having a New York background, is that special as well?
Bernard King said something great about me? Wow, that's really he's one of the best. I mean, definitely honored. Very, very, thankful for everything.
Have you spent much time previously in New York or Tennessee or New Orleans or any of the places that have been talked about as potential destinations for you?
New York, we used to go up there every summer because, like I said, I have family there. So that's where my mom grew up. So definitely, been there a lot.
You had pretty much a historic season for a guy your age at Duke.
All right, we're going to go ahead and
maybe didn't almost get the credit you deserve.
We're going to go ahead and talk to the video chat. I want to see what these guys,
that's credit enough.
How these guys think, what these guys think about RJ Barrett. You can call in 516-405-2246. And actually, I'm going to get to a phone call before I get to that. Let me get to this phone call first. Caller, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
What's good with you, bro? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Feel real good. What do you think, man? RJ Barrett, is he the guy? He wants to be with the Knicks. Sounds like he really likes the Knicks. What do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I recall there was an interview with him and Zion earlier in the season at Duke, and they asked Zion how would he like to play in New York, and Zion went to RJ and he was like, "Hey RJ, that's your team, right?" That was, that was like 2 or 3 weeks into the college season. I mean, I think the reason he didn't work out was because he didn't, if he works out and he wows a bunch of teams, hey, if I'm Memphis, I try to get RJ, you're going to get a lot more offers for him if he wows out and he's,
Well, I mean, there's only two teams.
Top 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's only 2 teams that can take him above us. So no matter what he does with any other teams, he's only going to work out for 3 teams if he's going to work out for anyone, right? It's only going to be 3 teams. It'd be the Pelicans, the Knicks, or the Grizzlies. That's the only teams that he's probably going to work out for because he's not expecting. Maybe he'd go Lakers too, just in case the Knicks do something crazy or something crazy happens above the Knicks, right? Just in case he might look at that, but he's not going any lower than 4. I don't have him going lower than 3, but I don't think he's going any lower than 4 either.
I just think, like you said earlier, I don't think we should overthink it. I don't think we should even it's cool to entertain the Anthony Davis thing, but I don't want it. It's not necessary.
Well,
if it happens, it happens, but it's not necessary,
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see where the Knicks go with it. So many things can happen Like my man Chester is saying, thank you for the super chat. Chester, he gave me 2 super chats. Thank you for the super chat. He said the Knicks have options like a menu at a 5-star restaurant, and that's the truth. The Knicks got crazy options.
Yeah, I love those options. I mean, we could go all the way and get 2 max players and go right to the second round of the playoffs, hopefully. Or, we could build for the future. I mean, we don't even have to even touch our cap, really, if we don't want to. You can go get some nice young, free agents and, make a trade here or there, but not really. If you still got room for a max free agent by the trade deadline, we didn't get Kevin Durant, but, this is the NBA. There's, all it takes is, money and opportunity, and any player could end up anywhere. So
yeah, truth.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate the call.
I like it. No, thank you very much, man. Best Knicks chat on YouTube. Have a good night.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, peace. All right, let's get over here to the video chat, ladies and gentlemen, and see what these guys. Nate, I'm gonna come back around to you. I want to give Ant G and Ernesto a chance to jump in here. Ant G, I'm coming to you, bro. What's up, Ant?
Son?
What's good with you, man? What's good with you?
Chilling. Knicks Nation is in a frenzy, man.
Yeah, I know. People stressed out, man. People are stressed out. They're just stressed out. They're stressed out. Yeah. July 1st, June 30th can't get here fast enough.
They're making up reason to be stressed out, though, man. We in such a good spot, man. If they would just sit back and drink a hot cup of tea, man, they'd be all right. We good.
Yeah. Well, that's because everybody wants Kyrie and KD, and that's what everyone's been hearing all season long. And now that we're starting to hear something different,
like they had to know this was gonna happen. Like of
course,
the reports coming out, all this other stuff. It's cool, man. If the universe is willing for it to happen, it's gonna happen, man. I think it's gonna happen. That's well documented. But if it don't, man, we live, man. We'll wake up and the Knicks will still be our team, and we'll still have some hope.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Jarett Culver is gonna work. He's gonna work out for the Knicks June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's gonna work out for the Knicks. It sounds to me like the Knicks have some serious interest in Jarett Culver. Right, I kind of like Jarett Culver myself. I'm not saying that I like him over RJ Barrett, but I like Jarett Culver.
Right.
And in a little bit, we're going to look at some stats on Jarett Culver. But what do you think, man? What do you think about Jarett Culver?
I like Jarett Culver, too, skill-wise. But I think it's a couple reasons why the Knicks have to take RJ Barrett. One is one of the uncomfortable reasons. It's because I think he holds more trade value, for teams around the league. But that's, I don't know that for certain. But the read I get, is that he probably will hold more trade value. But the second reason is I just think RJ Barrett has like a superstar mentality. And most superstars in the league have a certain type of mentality. Like one of the outliers is Kawhi. He's just different. But it's not too many guys that are at the top of the, talent heap in the league that are like Kawhi Leonard. And most of those guys have a certain type of mentality, a certain type of aura about them. And I feel like RJ Barrett has that. That it factor. I don't know if his talent will back it up, but he definitely has that it factor. Like he believes he's one of the best. And I think that's like a good building block, especially when he has talent to go with it. So that's why I would edge to him a little bit. He even has a toughness. He didn't grow up in like a rough environment, but his upbringing kind of reminds me of Kobe a little bit. Foreign, grew up overseas, had a father that had a little bit of money, probably was training with professional trainers from day one. Even his attitude a little bit. He's a little mature. So I like RJ, man. I just like RJ for those two reasons, man. For his trade value, if we have to come up with a package, and if not, if we have to keep him, I feel like we don't really have that on our team right now. Alpha, like a real alpha dog. I feel like Mitch showed a little bit of it, surprisingly. But, I don't think we really have that. Kevin Knox is not an alpha mentality.
You said who showed it?
Mitch. Mitch showed a little bit of it, shockingly. I don't think we expected
on the offensive
that from him.
side. On the offensive side,
I'm talking about just like personality-wise, like being a leader.
Okay, being a leader, yeah,
like taking control.
He definitely showed some leadership skills, and if he sticks around and the Knicks keep him, and they don't include him in a trade,
those are two good building blocks.
He'll be maybe the leader of the team. I think he seems like he has that kind of personality, right? But I don't think too many. I like Jarett Culver. He may not have that. I don't know if he has that alpha dog mentality or not. Right? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. He seems to me like trying to think of a personality to compare him to in the NBA. He has a calm type of demeanor. I don't want to say personality like Kawhi Leonard because he's a little more. He's not as quiet as Kawhi Leonard, right? But he seems very calm, emotionless a little bit on the floor. Not stoic, but
I guess it could be similar to James Harden in a way.
Calm. Obviously, Jarett Culver is a good defender. I really do kind of like the kid. I like him.
I like him.
I like him.
I don't know if I could work myself up to take him at 3. That's my only issue with Jarett Culver. It's I just don't know if RJ wasn't available, if it was say RJ wasn't in the draft and it was Zion and Ja, then Jarett Culver would probably be my next, the guy I would take. He probably has the highest floor. I think he's going to come in immediately and be a plus player, because he can shoot the ball a little bit, he can defend, he's a smart play, he doesn't force anything. He can score he can score at all 3 levels for the most part. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can keep the defense honest from out there. So his floor is pretty high. He's not going to be, wherever he goes, he's going to be a pretty decent player. Whether it's a Trevor Ariza type, he's going to succeed in the league.
You think Trevor? I kind of liken him to Jimmy Butler a little bit with the way that I see him play. Not the same, not the personality, but the gameplay, his style of play.
I just don't know if he has that takeover ability, where he says give me the ball, I got to go get it. I don't know if he has that. And I don't know if we can afford another one of those guys. We already got Knox on a team who's similar in personality to that. I feel like we need a guy that's going to come in and want to take the reins from day one. I think that's what we're missing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He may not have that mentality from day one, but I think he probably can. James Harden didn't have that mentality from day one. As a matter of fact, in high school and college, James Harden had to be pushed into being the leader, into being the primary scorer. If you go back and I forgot what it was that I was watching or reading, but James Harden, was kind of shy a little bit. Didn't want to be the main guy, and he had to grow into that role and learn that role. So guys can grow and learn to be in that role. Now, he was the leader, one of the leaders of his team in college, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying that I would take him over RJ Barrett, but would I be upset if the Knicks did? I don't know. Would you be upset? How would you feel if the Knicks did decide, if RJ Barrett was there and Culver was there and the Knicks took Culver? Would you be upset?
No, I wouldn't be upset. I think I would just take it as they're not expecting to be serious contenders for Anthony Davis. I would take that as I think they would, or if not, I think they would. I would take that they're not basing their pick off of, anything else other than who they like. Which is probably, a smart thing to do. I just don't know if that's actually their mentality. But if they took Jarett Culver, I wouldn't be mad about it. But we better hope we get it right. Because if RJ turns out to be a stud and Jarett Culver is a okay player, it's gonna be Jordan Hill, Steph all over again. So we better hope that. But we didn't have no choice with Steph. He came up before us, but it won't be as. It would probably be worse than that, actually. But we just gotta hope we get it right.
And listen, he did lead. He led his team to the championship.
Yeah, and he outplayed RJ Barrett at MSG. So
led his team to the championship. So it's I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna have to see, man. We're definitely gonna have to see. Let me get over here to Ernesto. I want to see what Ernesto thinks about Ernesto. What do you think about Jarett Culver? And then we're gonna take a minute and look at some of his stats and stuff like that. What do you think about Jarett Culver?
I like him a lot. He's a player that does a little bit of everything well. He can shoot, he can pass, he can defend. You're looking at a type of if you want to compare him to an NBA player, his ceiling is probably somewhere of Caris LeVert from the Nets. He's going to be a type of a B type player, basically. That's where his ceiling is at.
Okay.
A guy who's gonna score about 15 points and be the third option on your team. And he's gonna be a good fundamental player.
So you don't think he's a guy that can turn out to be like a Jimmy Butler type? I mean, I guess Jimmy Butler. Maybe Jimmy Butler is a B type of player, though, right?
Yeah. I think so. If the Knicks draft Culver at 3, then my way of thinking is, damn, they for sure KD and Kyrie are coming back because he fits better.
Give me one second. Give me 1 second. There you go. My bad. Say that again. I'm sorry.
What happened?
No. Maybe you couldn't hear it, but I had a little bit of sound going over top of you. I didn't. I couldn't hear it. Yeah, but go ahead. Say what you said again.
I was saying if the Knicks take Culver at 3, then the way I see it is that he fits better with KD and Kyrie. So it's like more of an assurance that those guys are coming, because RJ is going to be a guy who's going to need the ball in his hands, and he's going to want to, he's going to want to create for himself. He's going to want to force the issue. He's going to want to be the primary or the second option. He's just that guy. He's been that guy all throughout his young career. He's been the main guy on his team, and he's been a consistent winner at all levels of his career. RJ Barrett, he has a much higher ceiling than Culver. I mean, RJ Barrett, his ceiling is Scottie Pippen. That's the way I view it. A guy like that who can do everything, who can defend, who can play make and create for others, who can defend multiple positions and be a primary or the secondary option on the team. So I see RJ Barrett as his ceiling, Scottie Pippen, for example. And,
And, I think that's a all right. I mean, his style of play, I think is definitely a fair comparison when you're looking at his style of play. RJ Barrett and Culver. You say Culver again?
Yeah, Culver.
You were saying
Caris LeVert. That's from the Nets.
Okay.
Yeah, he's that type of player. I mean.
Okay. I mean, well, we'll see. I think he's still growing, still developing.
And if you're the Knicks, you can't be thinking that we're gonna draft a guy just because we need a guy who has more trade value. They got to draft a guy who they think is the best for them. Yeah. And I mean, that's the way they got to look at it, in my opinion. I mean, they can't be thinking like, okay, we got to take this guy just in case we got to make a trade. Unless you have a trade in place already and some guarantee and some assurance, then you're drafting the guy for probably another team, but not the other way around. You have to draft. You have to draft for yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Jarett Culver was born February 20th, 1999. He's a shooting guard. He's a sophomore this year. 6'6", 195 pounds. We're looking at NBADraft.net right now. Just kind of where he's ranked. His NBA comparison, they have his NBA comparison as Nick Anderson. I don't know. I think he's a little bit. I think he's a little more athletic than Nick Anderson, from the Nick Anderson that I remember at least. Athleticism, they have him at an 8, size a 7, defense 8, strength 8, quickness 8, leadership 8, jump shot is an 8, NBA ready 8. I think he is NBA ready. Ball handling is a 7. Potential is an 8. Passing is an 8. Intangibles 8. Overall, he's a 94. And I think at the moment they have him going 5th in the draft. Let's see. Yeah, his NBA comparison is, like they said, Nick Anderson. Looking at his strengths after playing a supportive role at Texas Tech as a freshman, Jarett Culver has quickly shot up the draft boards, and he's shot up the draft boards, which is one of the reasons that the Knicks are interested and have a meeting set up with him, or a workout set up with him on June the 5th. I'm not going to read all these paragraphs. You guys can go on NBADraft.net and look at it yourself. But overall, basically, Jarett Culver's well-balanced floor game and array of hesitation moves and elite footwork make him a very intriguing player in the mid-lottery this year. He's been asked to do a tremendous amount for his team this year on both ends of the floor and has delivered, producing at an excellent level. His scoring and passing will only shine more in a faster-paced NBA system. His knack for drawing fouls will be a great asset as well. Culver may not dazzle you with elite athletic ability, but from a skill standpoint, he's got a great foundation from which to build. So that's the rundown on Jarett Culver. And I guess we'll see how much the Knicks really like him. Right now, NBADraft.net, if you look at the board, they have Jarett Culver going 5th to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I think is probably probably about right. Now, he was lower than that. He's moved up the draft boards when it comes to, the combine and those things. So, he's doing well for himself. He's doing well for himself, and he's putting himself in position to make more money. So, but the Knicks liked Jarett Culver even before he started moving up the draft boards. I remember a few months back reading that the Knicks were interested in Jarett Culver, and taking a look at the guy. So, we'll see what happens there. Ernesto, I'm gonna come back to him and see what Nate has to say. I'm gonna make the rounds and come back to you. All right. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, like we were talking before the show started, the talk about the wing defenders is becoming a real serious thing with the Knicks. And I honestly believe, I really do believe that RJ Barrett is their pick at 3. But if they do get a trade offer to move down and they get a commitment that they can get a Culver or a Cam Reddish, which I think they like both of them very much. They're also going to meet privately with Cam Reddish too. It's an indictment on Kevin Knox's defense that they don't feel like Kevin Knox can play the 3 position. And maybe if they don't get Kevin Durant, maybe Knox goes to the 4, because maybe he won't be such a liability on the 4-man compared to the 3-man, because at the 3 position, you have to be able to play defense. Some of the best players are on the 3 position. And so you need a guy that's going to play defense. And it just speaks more to the indictment of Kevin Knox, is that how his defense is still way behind him right now, that they're looking at a guy like Culver or looking at a guy like Cam Reddish, who is probably more has an NBA body, and also too is probably going to be a high IQ defender, more so than maybe an offensive player early on.
But see, I think they play two they play two different positions though. Jarett Culver is like 6'6".
But
Kevin
I
Knox
think he could play.
6'9",
He could play the 3 position too. I mean, he
could, but I don't think it's an indictment on Kevin Knox. You know, it's another young player. I mean, you could say the same thing where if they take RJ Barrett, it's an indictment saying that Kevin Knox can't score. I guess you could say that. I don't think it's an indictment on Knox that he can't play defense. I mean, he's going into his second year in the league.
Well, if they want to get more defensively, sound, and they want to be a better defensive team, you got to get higher IQ defensive players.
That's
true.
Like
we were talking
That's
about.
True.
We got to get defensive minded players first rather than offensive minded players. And like I said, if they take Barrett, that tells me that they're wanting more offensively. They're more concerned about the offense and the defense. If they take a guy like Culver or Cam Reddish, it tells me that they're really serious about playing defense.
Well, I mean, I still think you have to wait until the roster fills out through the offseason to decide whether or not they're serious one way or the other. Because they may just look and say, this is the more talented player. This is the player that has the highest upside. And in 3 years, RJ, they may think in 3 years RJ Barrett can be an all-world defender. Who knows? Right.
Yeah.
And so they're like, he's not that now, but we're going to take him because he has upside and he can get there. So I don't know if it's going to be an indictment on any other player or indicative of where they want to go as far as defense or offense is concerned. I think in this draft, picking at number 3, they're going to take who they think is going to be the best player for the team. I hope that they're not going to be taking
which is going to be RJ Barrett. I mean, RJ Barrett is the third best player in this draft. I don't know how they take somebody else at 3, but like I said, if they trade down, for any reason, they are going to lock in a Culver or a Cam Reddish, because they really they value those two dudes. They want to privately meet with these guys and work them out. That usually tells me that they're serious about taking those guys.
Right, and they have set up a meeting with Cam Reddish as well. The Knicks have set up.
They're going to do
a private meeting with Cam Reddish as well. Stay on it. Stay live. You're still going to be live, Nate. I'm about to get to this phone call. Caller, you on live? Nothing but Knicks. What's poppin'?
Hey, Sim. How you doing? This
Hey, what's going on, Jamila? How you feeling?
Everything all right with you?
I'm good. I feel good, man. I feel real good. Yeah, I feel
real good. Good night to the chat, everyone. All right, I just want to point out something, right? So when the Knicks draft, their mentality should be the best player available.
Okay.
When we stayed in the top 3, everyone was like, "Oh, the Knicks are lucky because of the 3-player draft."
Right.
Now I like Culver, I really do. But I think RJ showed me that number 1, he can be the alpha dog. He can be the sidekick. I think he can play with anyone. So this whole idea of, we like Culver, that may be the case, but in all actuality, like, as much as I like Culver, he's only been on the scene for like a year. That, to me, says something. I need to know that you've put in years that you can do this. Because he's going to be playing in New York, and not many people could do that. I don't know if you can pass on a kid who, actually has New York ties and is actually a better player. So they're in a tough spot. Because if you pass on RJ and then to have him drop to the Lakers and he turns out to be a stud, that's a whole nother. The Knicks got to, they got to act like they're the smartest person in the room, and then it blows up in their face.
Right.
I know a lot of people may not like RJ because they're probably butthurt because of the whole Zion thing, but at this point you just got to take the talent. This whole idea as far as we may not draft RJ and we may draft Culver because we know that KD and Kyrie are coming. First of all, we don't know. The only thing we do know is that the Knicks put themselves in a position to make moves, which may include KD and Kyrie. What I will say is this. It's just like regular life. You ever been in a situation where you you're going for a job interview. And you like the company. You want to work with the company just for the company name. Come to find out when you have the interview, it's like, oh, this company is not what I thought it could be.
Right.
So it could just be that simple. I'll make a personal example. My mother purchased a house last year. Now, the whole situation it came out the blue because the house that she really, really wanted, her quote-unquote dream house, she's been zeroing on this house for a while. That's my dream house. That's my dream house. That's my dream house. Next thing you know, she calls me, I'm not going for that house anymore. I saw another house. You just don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, she bought the other house. And then when you think about it, the second house was, better off for her. It was a little bit more expensive, but the amenities and stuff like that. You don't know. So I'm tired of hearing, oh, the Knicks and Kite. We don't know. We just have to sit back and relax and see what happens. Because I think you got to understand that as much as we may want these players, there's so many different factors that may even be out of the Knicks' control. So when we draft, we should just look at it and say, okay, well, right now we're dealing with the draft. Let's deal with that. Next step after that is free agency. Next step after that. Now, I do applaud them for doing their due diligence, but I think Culver only comes into the only factor. I think the Knicks will only factor him if they get a trade. Now, the fact that they may be zeroing in on him shows me that the GM may not be, I think he may be willing to do a trade. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think Knicks fans need to, slow your roll, pump the brakes on this KD Kyrie. Because this whole, we know that they're coming, so we should draft based on, because we know they're coming. You don't know they're coming.
Yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that.
And especially with these two individuals being KD and Kyrie, they're so mercurial. Like, are you kidding?
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
So it's like, just, you take it a step at a time. I think they've done, they've done. I mean, I think Scott Perry and the whole front office is like, look, we have plan A, B, C, and D. And what I like is the fact that they're doing their due diligence, because you just don't pick a guy for the sake of picking a guy. But in this particular case, RJ Culver's a good player, but he's no RJ, man. I think if the Knicks pass on RJ, that's opening a can of worms. Okay. Because Culver's good, but, you got to have somebody who has the mentality to play here, who's not going to melt under the pressure. I think RJ has that. Whatever the it factor is, I think he may have it. And there's part of his game that I don't like, but then again, he's 18 years old, and this is where you have the whole development.
Right.
So regardless of who the Knicks pick. Huh?
What parts of his game do you not like?
His shot selection, but then again, it's shot selection is key. I wish he could his free throws. But then again, it's like when you're the stud on your teams, Team Canada, every single AAU team he's been on, you have the ability to shoot the ball whenever you like. You're the alpha dog. No one's going to tell you to stop. You put him in an environment where he has good veterans, or let's say the scenario plays out, and if you put these young guys next to players that know how to play, I'm quite sure you'll see a difference in knocks and RJ and stuff like that. You put good players around these young kids, you see a whole nother ball game. When you have these young guys, you get to see holes in their games because there's nothing to mask their shortcomings. You know what I mean? I don't know, like everyone with this whole and this whole, Nate, I won't call him out, but if I hear him talk about, we should call Atlanta and get the 8th and the 10th pick. No, you don't do that because basketball is not like football. Two nickels don't equal a dime. Stop it. I mean, I like Reddish and stuff like that, but not every. I'm telling you, you have the mentality of working this to be a Knick, and I mean, it's crazy. Like, and this is the reason why teams don't like drafting young guys, because I don't care who you draft, you're gonna have holes. I remember when when Kid was playing for Cal, he couldn't shoot at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns out to be one of the best shooters in the league. At the end of the day, it's the team has to put them in a position to succeed, but he has to take it upon himself to be and want to be great and put the work in. And you have too many good people in the league vouching for this kid. And that says something.
Well, a lot of people.
Did you see?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you see what Bernard King said about him? I haven't heard Bernard King say anything about any young guy ever.
Yeah, we just actually listened to RJ Barrett's interview, and they talked to him about Bernard King, Jay Billis, who I respect tremendously because he has a lot of good things to say about RJ Barrett.
Everyone. So I mean, look, what Nash says is he's biased. That's his godson. But when I have Hall of Famers and people who did something in this league telling me that that this guy has the goods, I'm intrigued. I mean, Culver, he did well, but I mean, I've been hearing about RJ for the past, literally like 3-4 years now. I mean, what he did in Canada, I don't know. Well, and two, you got to look at it. The Knicks may not be looking at RJ as far as because they know him at the back of their hand, because this guy's been on the circuit for years, and especially since they've been looking at Duke, since they've probably been looking at Zion. They have a lot of Duke tape. So in looking at Zion, you automatically see Barrett.
Right.
So you may need to look into Culver a little bit more. I think they know about Barrett at the back of their hand.
Yeah. Now I know they were looking. I know they were looking at Culver a little bit even earlier in the season. They were taking a look at Culver too. Yeah.
I hear you, but I do believe that would have been a situation where if they were like a number 4 or 5.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Right.
Because I think if we had picked number 5, they'd probably be looking at Garland because they like him too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know if they have what it takes to not take that guy, knowing that everybody under the sun is telling them that is a 3-player draft.
Yeah.
I think when you're drafting top 3, you can't take risks. Like, for example, when they drafted Knox last year, they were in the 9th spot. So you had a lot of people saying, "Oh, take the Bridges over Knox or whatever." You can go for preference at the 9th spot. You can't do that top 3. You just got to take the best player available, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel.
And as far as I'm concerned, like, Culver is good, but is he better? Is he better than RJ? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? There'll be some people out there that say yeah. There'll be a lot of people that say, most people are gonna say no. There'll be some people that say yeah. You're really not gonna know about either one of them until they get in the NBA, their mentality, how they work, all that kind of stuff. Is their talent equal? I don't think their talent is equal. Right? I think I think RJ has the better talent. Then it's gonna come down to
So in that regard, considering where you're drafting, what's more important? Is it the talent, or is it we like this guy for our system? Because that's where you have an issue.
I mean, the one thing I guess you have to see them while seeing them on TV and seeing them in person, the two different things, right? So you'd really have to see them, when they're watching both of them guys and they're doing workouts with them, I guess they'll see from their workout, okay, who do we think has the better talent? Who has the, who has the who is going to be hard to determine who has the work ethic, right? Until you actually get them there. You can only determine that by interviews and asking people that surround them. And people that surround them are both going to say that they have great work ethic. Right. I think there's a lot of things that go into a good NBA player, but you probably, if you're going to bet on anything, you're going to bet on talent. I agree with you there.
I mean, that's what we should do, right? I don't know. They're in a tough situation, but then again, they can't make it. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pass on RJ, it's going to be, this guy has New York ties and he's built. And he has a mental. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I say one last thing because I know the call's going a little long. Whoever the Knicks draft, they really need to get some players in here who have that dog in them. I'm tired of the quiet player. Like, Knox is quiet. I need a guy who's, like, willing to, like, stuff you in the basket or something.
Okay.
They need
Okay.
They need that. They need that, they need that alpha dog. They just do. Like, I can't. These quiet boys, they need some bad boy in them sometimes. They just need that.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to thank you for taking the time to take my call. And
I appreciate
have a good
it,
night.
man. Appreciate it always. All right. Have a good one.
Have a good night, man. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. So, you know what? I mean, listen, I agree. I believe that the Knicks are going to take RJ Barrett. But, like she said, it's smart for them to do their due diligence. Take a look at who else is out there. And you never know when someone they're going to look at someone and say, wow, we really like what we see with this guy. But then people are going to ask the question, are they overthinking it? You know what I mean? But really, that's why if I was the Knicks and I really liked two guys and I was looking at two guys like they did last year with Knox, I'd really try to put them in the same room on the same court together and have them play against each other. Will they do it? Who knows? Probably not. RJ Barrett wouldn't do it. You know why he wouldn't do it? Because he would have everything to lose, while Jarett Culver would have everything to gain. Right? RJ Barrett is already almost consensus. Well, not almost. He's already a consensus top 3. So if the Knicks were to ask him, well, we want you to come work out with Jarett Culver, and then Jarett Culver gets the best of him, or whoever else it is, looks better than him in the workout, it can only hurt RJ Barrett, right? Because you're expecting RJ Barrett to look better. Now, if Jarett Culver does not look better, right? If RJ Barrett gets the best of Jarett Culver, or looks better, or plays better than Jarett Culver, it doesn't really hurt Jarett Culver because that's what's expected. So I would, that type of thing is not going to happen with the two working out against each other. I would like to see it. It would be great for the Knicks because that's when you can really see who can do what. But that's not going to happen, But that would, that would really be, that would be a good thing for the Knicks if that could happen. Let's get back to the video chat and see what some of these guys think about, Jarett Culver. I'm gonna come to Isaiah. I'm gonna let Mark back in the video chat. Go ahead, Isaiah. What's good, man?
Hey, what's up, Tim? I'm about to get clowned, but let me show you. I made something tonight.
Oh boy, this man he's cooking again. What's that?
Nah, it's some chicken. It's a Hawaiian teriyaki chicken with some broccoli and white rice.
Okay. This man always cooking. Every time you get on the show, you making something to eat. It's good, man.
No, I already made that. But
not only is he a comedian, folks, but he's also a chef. So you can hire Isaiah, right? And you can hire Isaiah to have a night out with your lady or your husband.
I have a night out with your lady. I do.
And check it. And he can sing B2K. He can cook dinner, and he can give you a comedy show all at once. One-stop shop.
Trying to tell you, Sam, I'm a man of many trades.
Go ahead, man. So what you got to say? Jarett Culver. We talk about Jarett Culver.
Okay. Jarett Culver. And hey, Sam, I do not be talking, I don't be saying the same thing 3 times, all right? Don't do that to me.
Oh, go back and look at it. You do.
Maybe, but
okay,
I don't.
I'm gonna count right now.
All right, man. Look. This is a fresh start. Look, look, Jarett Culver, man. Excellent player, good defender. But Sam, here's serious note. This is the thing I don't like, and I feel like this happens every year with players. The championship game curse. It happened. I don't want to call it a curse, but it happens every year where a player plays good in a championship game, increases draft stock, and it just never pans out. Like, for example, I remember a couple years ago, what's the kid from North Carolina? Josh Jackson, I think it was. Justin Jackson, the light skinned kid. I forgot. He played for North Carolina. He had a really great championship game.
But Jarett Culver didn't just have a great championship game. Jarett Culver was consistent all season long. You know, man, his stats this season, he averaged 18 points a game, 6.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists. Right, it's only his sophomore season. You know, he leaves a lot to be desired from 3-point range. He shot 30% for 3-point range, 52% from 2. His overall field goal percentage was 46% from the field. When he was a freshman, he averaged 11 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists. He averaged 6 less minutes per game, though. He shot 45% from the field. He shot 38% from 3. It's not like he just. I mean, he carried the team all season. Not carried, but you know, he was one of their primary players all season, and he did it throughout March Madness. You know, Isaiah, you there?
Yeah. No, you're right, Sam. You're right. You're right about that. And I should have said that. But you know, I will say this though, and I said it one of your previous shows, man. You got to take RJ, man. And to me, it's not rocket science.
Okay.
Again, I like Jarett Culver. Let's just say for some odd reason, we don't. I mean, I would not be mad I won't say I'd be mad, but it'd be a little bit of reach. But if the Knicks' alternative is Jarett Culver, I wouldn't be so mad. If it's anybody else, I would be mad. But if it's Jarett Culver, I wouldn't be so mad because he is an excellent defender, and I do think we need some two-way players to play. So I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, okay. And just real quick, I just want to take a quick, and you're still on live. Let's take a quick look. Someone asked to, show RJ Barrett's breakdown. Right, looking at RJ Barrett, his breakdown compared to what we've seen with Culver. RJ Barrett's freshman this year. 6'7", 210, so he's a little bit bigger than Jarett Culver, about 15 pounds heavier than Jarett Culver, a little bit more size. Athleticism is 8, size is 8, defense is 8. People knock him about his defense, but I'm not ready to say his defense is awful. His strength is 8, quickness 8, leadership is an 8, jump shot is a 7, NBA ready 8, ball handling 8, potential 8, passing is an 8, intangibles 9, and his overall is a 96, and they liken him to Danny Granger. I'm not going to go through the entire paragraph with the weaknesses and everything, but I will quickly go over, if I can find it, the outlook. Basically, Barrett is known as one of the top athletes of the 2019 high school class. He led his team to victory at the Jordan Brand Classic International game to earn MVP with 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in 25 minutes. Played for the UPlay Canada on the NYK EYBL. at the 16U level, where he finished second in the league in scoring and third in free throw attempts with 25. Barrett averaged 25.7 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per game. That was in AAU. Of course, that outlook is, a long time ago, and it's not the NBA outlook for RJ Barrett. Listen, RJ Barrett likely is going to be the consensus three pick, and the Knicks are likely going to take RJ Barrett. But they're taking a look at Culver.
No,
So
you have to.
we
You
got to
really
talk
have to
about
now
it.
because it's truly. I mean,
talk
it's important to look at all aspects of players, man. And like I said, I mean, Jarett Culver is a really good player. He's a really great defender. To me, he's the fourth best player in the draft. But behind RJ, I think RJ just has a lot of skills. And like you said, it's most likely gonna be RJ, but the Knicks have to do their due diligence to look at players, man.
All right. So now let's talk about some players that we already have on the team and the likelihood of them remaining on the team. All right. Frank Ntilikina. Right?
Are you talking to me, Sim?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. It sounds like that the Knicks are really intent on trading Frank. Right? That they are really intent on moving him for a late first round draft pick. Have we seen... Well, listen, Frank Ntilikina during the end of the season, he barely played during the end of the season for the Knicks. Right? But my question, have we seen the last of Frank Ntilikina in a Knicks uniform?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I love Frank. I believe Frank is the player that we would definitely need when we become good. But, the reports we keep hearing, man, it's looking more and more likely that he's not going to be on the Knicks. But what really kind of bothers me about it is if you're going to trade him for a first-round pick, is he going to be as good a defender as Frank? Because if you're getting a late first-round pick, that guy has most likely probably going to be more of a junior, senior type of player, probably more of a 3-and-D kind of guy. But Frank is kind of already that, and he covers a lot of things, man, that you fit as for a guy that comes off the bench to be a defender. But again, I think because I read it earlier, I don't know if Viv said it, but I know they have to figure out if they're going to pick up Alonso Trier's option. And they're most likely going to keep Trier. So it's looking more and more likely that Frank is not going to be here.
Yeah, and listen, the Knicks are going to keep Alonso Trier. I'm pretty positive they're going to keep Alonso Trier. I actually spoke with his mom earlier today, and she said that, he's relaxing, getting some rest, he's working out, getting ready for training camp. That's what he's doing right now. He's getting his mind, body ready for training camp, looking forward to coming back to the New York Knicks. That's not what she said to me. What she said to me is that he's training, he's resting, and he's training to get ready for training camp and to play for the Knicks next year. I believe that he feels he's going to be a New York Knick. I believe that the Knicks feel and want him to be a New York Knick, and his contract situation is really just semantics. They try to open up as much cap space as possible to be able to maneuver. But the Knicks are going to they'll be bringing back Alonso Trier, and they should bring back Alonso Trier. Alonso Trier, I know a lot of people didn't like some of the ways that he played, and they kept the ball too long and those type of things, but he's a rookie. I know he's an older rookie, but he's still a rookie. He's been playing all his life on teams where he had to be the man. He had to be the primary scorer. It still takes time for you to adjust, and I expect I think he's a smart kid. I think he's a kid that will learn how to adapt, and I think he'll be fine, and he'll be back with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Like
now,
the most important thing, and I hope most important thing for Alonso to me that he should have learned from this year, and I hope he looked. I know he looked over with the tape was the passing, and the selfish. Even though he probably was a good teammate, is just the selfishness on the court showed. And I just hope, and I'm pretty much sure I know Knick management or his people have showed him his tendencies. And again, you're right. He's a rookie. It doesn't matter. It don't matter if you come into the league at 30 or whatever. You're a rookie. It's your first year in the NBA, so you're not going to do everything perfect. So I mean, I agree with you with everything you just said.
But part of the reason for moving Frank would be to open up that cap space. You know what I mean? Frank, I think makes what's he make? $7 million or something like that.
Yeah, I think
or
something like that.
4 or 5, something like that. And I'll check on it, just to be sure. But to open up that cap space so that you have a little bit more money to sign, other free agents. But is he worth a first round draft pick? Will the Knicks get a first round draft pick for Frank Ntilikina? A late first round draft pick.
Maybe I'll say this. I think maybe a team like Milwaukee or a team like the Spurs would take a chance on Frank and give up a late first rounder for an already proven defender and a guy that can move the ball. I can see a team like that doing it. I really can't see a lot of teams doing it. But teams that are kind of in like that win now mode, I can see them doing it for a guy like Frank that can come off their bench and defend. Other than that, I don't really see another team giving up a late first round pick for Frank.
Now I thought I read somewhere that the Cavs had looked at the possibility of giving up the 26th pick for Frank Ntilikina. Now
that wouldn't be bad.
The Knicks get the 26th pick. Right now the 26th pick. Let me see if I can get to the entire draft. Right now, the 26th pick looks to be the Cleveland Cavaliers do have the 26th pick, and you'll be looking at someplace. Naz Reid from LSU. The Knicks would probably take someone. I'm not saying that they would take Naz Reid. They would take someone who they feel fits if they were to trade Frank Ntilikina for the 26th pick. Now, even still, though, if you may trade Frank Ntilikina to try to open up cap space, but you still have, if it's a late first round draft pick, that's still guaranteed money. So you're not going to save that much money because you still got to pay guaranteed money, but it's going to be less. I don't know, maybe $3 million or something like that you've got to pay if you get a late first round draft pick. If you get a second round draft pick, an early second round draft pick, right?
It's like $1 million.
That's not guaranteed.
Oh, really?
That's not guaranteed. No, you get, once you get into that second round, it's no longer guaranteed. The first round is guaranteed if you sign the player, then it's a guaranteed contract, right? If you sign the player, it's a guaranteed contract. But if you get someone in the second round, you don't have to pay them anything. They may or may not make your team. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's so much value, maybe not in this year's draft, but in other years, is so much value in that early second round pick. Because in many drafts, those players, it's like getting a late first round pick, but you don't have to pay them the same amount of money, and it's not guaranteed. Well, you don't have to pay them the same amount of money. Let me say this. When you get a first round draft pick, that person's going to be on your team. That's it. Unless you trade them, that person's on your team and you got to pay them money. Second round draft pick, they have to make the team. So it's not guaranteed that they're going to make the team, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to have to pay them until they get a contract. Then that contract is guaranteed. So that's the value in that second round pick. So then there's the question. If you're going to trade them, do you trade them for a first round draft pick? A late first round draft pick? Or do you say, no, we're going to trade them for a second round draft pick so that we can have the cap flexibility? Which one makes more sense?
Well, the second one makes more sense. But if I'm trading Frank, I want at least 2 second rounders. 2 second rounders, at least for Frank. You know, listen, man. People complain about what he don't do, but what he does do is when he's on, he defends at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I mean, if we all look at the playoffs, that right now is very valuable. So, you know, if we're going to do the second option, I need at least 2 second rounders, Frank. Because this is the thing that really bothers me about trading Frank, right? This is the part that bothers me. If we trade Frank, and let's just say everything goes right, we get KD and Kyrie, you need players like Frank to be on the team.
We know that. We know that. But, you know, there's going to be other players. Nate brought this up earlier. Kadeem Allen may have made Frank expendable. He doesn't have the same length, but he plays defense. He can run a team. Maybe he made Frank Ntilikina expendable.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
you never know.
Yeah.
Let me get around. See that? You see how much more concise this one was, Isaiah? You made it a point not to repeat yourself. I know you were focused on it. You were probably taking notes for everything that you said to make sure. Right? I know you were making mental notes. Say, I'm not going to repeat myself. And it was much more concise.
Hey, look, man.
See?
Until you listen, Sim, I'm going to say this real quick. Because you be letting Tony Crow slide. I'm going to keep repeating myself until you not let Tony Crow slide.
What you mean?
Come on, Sim. Tony Crow be saying the same thing 4 or 5 times.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but I had to listen. I just know you do. I know you do. You say like 5, 6, 7 times.
Man. I like talking. That's why I like repeating myself.
I know. I'm gonna come over here. I want to see what Mark's got to say. Mark, man. Who's Mark? If his internet can stay on. I don't know what's going on with his internet tonight.
Mark.
He ain't listening. Hey, Mark.
Yo.
All right, man. So what's going on, man? We trading Frank Ntilikina. What is Frank gonna be on the squad when the season starts, or what?
Well, they're saying the Knicks saying, right? I think when they traded him, I think they're gonna trade Frank to Cleveland for the 26th pick, for the first 26th pick. I think that's gonna happen.
I read that.
Because that free up money. Number one, that free up money.
Frees up a little bit of money. Frees up a little bit of money.
Listen, the more you can get off, the better it is. And they're going to use that pick for an asset. They're going to use it for an asset. They're just going to get rid. I don't want to get rid of the guy because he can play defense, and that's what I want. That's what I always wanted him for. But they got to do what they got to do. And the way they move, man, listen, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, Frank Ntilikina makes $4.8 million next year. Now, remember, that's the 9th pick. No, he was what? The 7th pick or whatever it was. Or 8th pick. I don't know. I forgot what pick he was now.
He was the 9th. I think Frank was the 9th, the 8th. I think the 8th pick.
The 8th pick. Now, if you get someone at the 26th pick, I'm not sure, but it's going to be a guaranteed salary. It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be a guaranteed salary if you get somebody at that 26th pick, because it's in the first round. It's going to be a guaranteed salary.
Yeah, it is. It is. But let me ask you a question. When you look at the lottery, the first 10, right? They're getting above, I'd say, like 4 million guaranteed. Because
it goes up. So like the number 1 pick is going to get like 9 million. When you get down to the second and third pick, it's going to be like 8 million, 7 million.
I wonder what the 26th pick is going to be, though.
It's probably somewhere between what? Well, hey, here you go. I'm looking at it right now. The 2018, 2019 rookie scale. All right, so for the number 26 pick, they're making 1.4 million. So next year it might be a little bit higher.
That's $3 million shaved off.
So that's $3 million shaved off, which is just enough money to pay Alonso Trier.
Sim, I think they're gonna restructure this deal.
Because Alonso Trier made $3.3 million, just about $3.4 million this year, and then there's a team option for next year at 3.5. So the Knicks can now see if the Knicks to keep the max amount of space open, the Knicks can decline Alonso Trier's team option so that they had the 3.5, which would make him an unrestricted free agent. Then they could re-sign him for another deal. But you have to be careful. You've got to really know that Trier wants to stay and be in New York, because once if they do decline his option and he's an unrestricted free agent, he can go look anywhere.
So let me ask you a question, Sin. If they do that, right, and he left, do you feel like that's a loss?
Yeah, I do. I think that would be I would think that would be a little bit of a loss. I understand why you have to do it. If to do the things that you want to do, you kind of have to do it. But
it's mandatory.
It might be a loss. Unless Trier's just like, I want to be in New York and that's it, and I'm not really gonna look anyplace else. But it would be in his best interest to look and see what else is out there if he's unrestricted.
But then again, Sim, what they could do is give him a longer deal. You get what I'm saying? Because think about it. I don't know what his value is around. We don't know what his value is around the league. We don't know. We don't know. And if he goes to any other team, I don't think he's going to get what he's getting this year. I don't think he's going to get I think he get 3.6 this year.
He got 3.3 this year.
Yeah,
3.4. 3.4 this year.
3.4, right? And remember, he didn't have no promises but us. So
because he was undrafted. He was undrafted. He was undrafted. So he came and we signed him to a 2-way contract, and then he made the team. He might have, depending on how he looks, how people feel about him in the league, he may have a little bit of leverage.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to get, because when you look at all other teams, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of these teams ain't going to exhaust that little bit of money. That little bit of money for a player that I don't think he has enough pull yet to, he don't have enough pull yet. This is his first. This is his first year. He don't have that pull yet.
That's true.
So we're still in leverage with him, because I think Scott Perry. I think these kids all understand their position right now. There's no way they don't understand. From Lance Thomas, from Moody, from everybody, they knew once they did that Porzingis trade, everything is up for grabs. They know. And I just don't think Trey has that pull to be demanding. No.
Well, no, he's not going to be able to demand anything. But if the Knicks really do want him, if they decline his option, then he will be able to go out, test the free agent market. And if somebody gives him some money, he go ahead and do his thing.
Oh, but we don't have his rights once we re-announce him, right?
No, once we decline that option, we have no rights to him.
Jesus Christ.
Once we decline that option, no rights to him is gone.
I like Trey because he is a dog. He's not afraid of nothing, though. That's why I like him.
He's not afraid. He's not.
But I don't think it would be a big loss, because at the end of the day, the more money we have, the more that we can put someone more experienced in. Into that slot.
That's true.
It's still a win-win-win for us if anything happens this summer.
That's true, but you would hope. I mean, what did Alonso Trier average? 10 points a game as a rookie this year. You would hope, and he shot. His field goal percentage was a decent field goal percentage.
No, he was. That's what he's amazing, because he was highly efficient. That surprised me.
Yep.
That surprised me. His only issue was he didn't know how to get rid of the ball quicker enough.
And I'm sure, right. And I'm sure he's going to work on that. I think he's going to work on that. And I'm pretty sure when they worked out their developmental plans for the summer, they said, we want, you got 3 seconds to get to the hoop. You don't get to the hoop in 3 seconds. You got to give up the rock. We don't need a whole bunch of empty dribbles. I'm sure he's going to work on those things to come back a better player.
And another thing too, Sam, I think just for the fact that he's a young kid in New York, we gave him that chance. Remember, he was not going. He couldn't. He wasn't even going to be drafted, bro. So I think, and you got to understand, I think Fizz will play a role in this too, because like I said, these kids like Fizz. As much as we speculate on here about how Fizz are with these kids, I think he got all their respect. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. All of them. Because trust me, if they didn't, they wouldn't react the way they react on the bench. They could have all sobbed, and they was positive this year. They was positive. If you watch that bench, they was positive. I think we're good. They're just gonna have to do what they gotta do with the money and with the players. I'm just mad because I don't want to trade Frank, but
I don't want to trade him either, because when I look at the possibilities of having Frank playing defense on those wings and then Mitch down low, it's nice. But
he's huge.
We'll see how this works out. Let me get around. We'll see what Ernesto thinks. Ernesto, what do you think, man? Is Frank gonna be here at the beginning of the season? Ernesto, you there? I don't know if Ernesto can hear me. I don't think Ernesto can hear me. All right, I'm going to come back to Ernesto. All right, Nate.
Are you ready for my proposal?
What do you think, man? Do you think Frank is going to be here? Oh, yeah. Nate got a proposal. Nate has a proposal.
Let me answer your question first.
But do you think Frank is going to be here at the beginning of the season?
Man, I don't think so, bro, because the thing is, like I told you before, man, if they can get a first-round pick for Frank, that's a win for the front office, because Frank underperformed so much this year. And for them to get a late first-round pick, I don't care if it's Naz Reid, whoever the hell it is. I mean, just to get a chance at another asset, I mean, you can package that with somebody else, or hey, maybe you get lucky and maybe some player falls down the draft line and you pick them up. You just never know, So I think the chance that they can get a first-round pick, you make that deal in a heartbeat. Now, if it's a second-round pick, I think about that, because I'd rather have Frank on my team because I know what he brings defensively, and a second-round pick ain't going to cut it for me. But if it's a first-round pick, I'm making that deal. But no,
even in this draft, I mean, a 26 pick in this draft is like a second-round pick in other drafts.
True, but this draft is deep too. So you look at a lot of the late-round picks, man. That's where a lot of people get good players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're in this draft. We'll see. But what's your proposal? Right.
So
brace yourselves, Nick World. Brace yourselves.
Yeah. All right. So hypothetically, all right. So obviously, let's say that Dame Lillard becomes. Let's say there's rumors out there that they want to look at listen to trade offers for him. All right. Would you consider trading the number 3 pick, Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith, and one of the Dallas's picks for Dame Lillard and possibly Zach Collins or Myers Leonard? Because we need a big man.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so because you can get another point guard. There's other ways to get a point guard. That seems like a lot Lillard, for Dame Lillard. To me, I feel like that's a lot for Damian Lillard. I think the number 3 pick and all of that, I think that's a lot. Right, first of all, I don't think Dame wants to leave Portland, and especially after their playoff run this year. Even though they got swept by the Golden State Warriors, they went farther than they've ever went before. And if they can add one more player, a third scorer, and looking at the Warriors could possibly be weaker next year, they'll probably feel confident. I don't see them making any moves with Dame Lillard.
I mean, if they re-up the same team, I mean, they can beat them without KD. I mean, they showed that.
Well, they got swept 4-0, but.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you this question. Okay, so if you have guaranteed that you're going to get Kevin Durant, do you make that deal?
No, because there's other point guards out there that I think you can get that you can get without giving up as much, I think. Because remember, you can absorb. We talked about this in the last stream. You can absorb. So if you get KD, right, you can absorb. You don't only have to sign somebody. You can absorb somebody else's contract without moving your third pick. Right? So you could, so let's just say, let's just say that the Pelicans ended up, they knew that AD was going to be gone. They want to break it all the way down. And they want to get rid of, what's his name over there?
Drew.
Yeah, they want to get rid of Bledsoe, right? You don't have to make a heck of a trade because you can absorb his contract. So you can trade just one player. You can trade just Frank and absorb his contract. Or you can trade just Dennis Smith Jr. and absorb his contract. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think there's other ways that the Knicks could get a point guard without giving up the farm for Damian Lillard or somebody else, because you have the ability to absorb a contract. And then maybe, if there's another player out there that, I think there's other things you could do.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I get the deal's kind of big, but I mean, Dame Lillard's not just any point guard. He's one of the top point guards up there.
You're right. I mean,
the guy's a gamer, puts up great points every year. I mean, you're right. He probably's not going to leave Portland, but I'm just saying, if Portland was to put it out there, I mean, I at least want the Knicks to at least try to make an offer of some kind, because having Dame Lillard and Kevin Durant on the same team.
I mean, I really like Damian Lillard. I'm a big Damian Lillard fan, but I don't know if I'm giving up the third pick, Kevin Knox, and some other things when I know there's other options out there that could.
Well, when you're trying to get a good player, you're going to have to give up a young player. You're going to have to give up draft picks. I just threw Dennis Smith in there because I want Dennis Smith off the team. And maybe the Dallas pick was a little too much. I mean, you could probably do it with those guys and still get it. So, but you just never know, man. I mean, everybody's fire sale right now. I just heard on the TV, Woj, that everybody on the Rockets is available.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that next. I was going to get into that.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
No, that's all right. I was going to get into that. Let me get around and see what other people think about Frank, and we're going to mix in some of the stuff with the Rockets. The one thing that I am going to say about the Rockets, though, I just want to stay away from Chris Paul. Chris Paul his contract is crazy, and I want to stay away from Chris Paul's contract. He's getting older. I don't want to deal with it, man. I don't want to deal with it. Listen, Chris Paul is a warrior and everything, but I don't want that $40 million a year. I don't want $40 million a year for Chris Paul. That's too much. That's crazy. Chris Paul's contract, right? And, the Rockets, trying to reshape their team, but Chris Paul's contract is Chris Paul. He signed through 2021, 2022. He has a player option in 2021 and 2022. So he made $35 million this year. Chris Paul will make $38 million next year. He'll make $41 million in 2020, 2021, and then $44 million in 2021, 2022. I want to stay as far away from that contract as possible. So I'm not looking at anything. I'm not looking at Chris Paul at all. At all. You stay as far away from that contract as possible. That's crazy. That's crazy for Chris Paul, because he's definitely not he's not the same Chris Paul. And like Edwin in the chat is saying, Chris Paul has some baggage. He does have some baggage in the way that he gets along with teammates and all those type of things. Yeah, I'm not messing with Chris Paul. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else on the Rockets that we want, but I'm not messing with Chris Paul. I can definitely tell you that. Let me get back around to people and see what people think, man. I'm going to come to Big Freezy. What's good,
what's
man?
Up, Sam?
What's up, man? Do you think Frank Ntilikina is going to be on the squad come the beginning of the season? And should the Knicks engage? What'd you say?
You mean come training camp? Will Frank still be here?
Yeah, will Frank still be here come training camp? And do you think that the Knicks should engage the Rockets in any kind of deal? I mean, the Rockets basically, I don't want to say they're having a fire sale, but they're making their players, besides James Harden, I guess, available.
Well, first of all, Frank is going to be here. We put out all these rumors, man, and the Knicks leadership had numerous attempts to trade Frank, but they didn't. He could have been included in the trade to Dallas, the Kristaps Porzingis trade, but he wasn't. Phoenix inquired about him, offered 2 second-round picks. We didn't take it. Orlando made it public that they offered 2 second-round picks and was waiting on a response from us. They were mad and took it to social media, right? We still didn't trade Frank then. Frank is exactly what we need in order to build a championship contender. It's ridiculous for us to say trade Frank to clear up caps, to clear up $4 million so that we can sign Thabo Sefolosha for $8 million. That's ridiculous. You got the same type player, but you're paying double the money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and also just to talk to the Houston Rockets point, I was just talking to Who's Mark. I think I drove Mark crazy. And Mark's my dude, by the way. Shout out to Who's Mark. But I told Who's Mark 2 scenarios that the Knicks can win this summer. We can trade the stuff that we got in the KP trade to Houston for James Harden, all of it, whatever they gave. We get Dennis Smith Jr., the draft picks, all of that stuff for James Harden. The owner said that they are blowing it up and no player is safe, including future draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we could go get James Harden to play with KD. You know what I'm saying? And if a Knicks fan says that they do not want a team that features James Harden and KD and Madison Square Garden every night for the next 4 years, they're crazy, right? Secondly, and as an alternative to the Houston deal, to dealing with Houston, we can absorb Chris Paul's contract. And I heard what you said, but just hear me out on it. So we can absorb Chris Paul's contract and take back 3 future first-round picks from Houston, right? So that gives us 10 first-round picks, accumulated first-round picks, and 2 trades to give Scott Perry fuel and assets to rebuild the Knicks roster that we want to have. It's the scenario where you get a short-term fix at point guard, right? But you also give Scott Perry more bullets, so to speak, in order to build for the future. So while we pay the next 3 years, we pay Chris Paul some ungodly amount for the decline in point guard play. And I know the dude's 34. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? But last year, the Knicks rolled out point guards, Emmanuel Mudiay. The year before that, it was Mudiay and Trey Burke and some French kid that everybody's always down on, didn't give him a chance. The year before that, it's like Brandon Jennings, D. Rose, Jarrett Jack, and all these guys. So Knicks fans are up in arms saying that they don't want to pay Chris Paul, but they have never had, they have not had a great point guard, or at least all-star level potential at point guard. So you trade for Chris Paul. He's the bridge, so to speak. He's the Eli Manning to Daniel Jones type thing that we would do until we start drafting and bringing in our guy. So you give Scott Perry 10 first-round picks in a 5-year span. If he can't get you a point guard with that, he doesn't need to be our GM. Right?
Yeah. My only thing, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're doing. He makes so much he makes $38 million next year, right? That leaves about $36 million to sign another, big guy. And then he's on contract for another, because it's not really short term. He's not short term. He's on contract until 2022.
Right. But it's 2019, so you got 2 years.
I know it's 2019, but that's kind of long term in the NBA.
Especially in New York. I know what you're saying. In New York,
that joint is a long time.
3 years is a lifetime. It's a lifetime for those New York newspapers to write about the point guard situation.
Gosh.
Right, but at the same time, though, Sim, it's like you remember Ginsu knives, man. Like it's like a Ginsu knife. It's like, dude, your set of Ginsu knives, they worth like $900. You got the whole set. They stay sharp and all that stuff. But if you mess around and nick your hand, dog, you might have to go to the emergency room. That's basically what this is, right? That's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Ginsu knives, man. Man, I'm looking at stabilizing the point guard position, right? Mm-hmm. At least for a little while, right? Short term. You got KD here. You sign KD first before you do the trade. Then you bring in, say, your Chris Paul to run point for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then in the offseason, man, we killing it. The world is our oyster. We got 10 first-round picks in 2 years, right? So even if we don't want to go to the draft and draft a guy, we can package those picks. And we could send 4 first-round picks to the Bucks for Giannis. Like, listen, here's 4 first-round picks right here. You know they're going to be lottery picks. You know what I'm saying? Because it's Dallas and it's Houston. Houston and Dallas are rebuilding at the same time. And so you're getting good value for these picks. You could I mean, to me, it's
but is
too
Houston
much of a good thing not to at least look at.
So is Houston really trying to rebuild? I don't know if they're trying to rebuild. I think they're still trying to win. They're just opening up their roster to say, we're ready to deal, and they're going to try to make some deals to try to still put together a good roster. I don't know if they're trying to rebuild. I don't think they're trying to rebuild. I think they're just opening up their roster and draft picks.
The owner said everybody is available.
Right.
And including the draft picks.
Right, but I think that they're still trying to win. They're just opening up the roster and draft picks to see what moves they can make to build, continue to, to try to build their roster still. So they're willing to move anyone if the right
offer came.
If the right offer came, I guess. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, just one other thing. There's another scenario, too. Would you entertain James Harden to the Knicks if Houston said we had to absorb Chris Paul's contract and only thing we have to offer them is the number 3 pick? We don't get draft picks from them. We get James Harden and Chris Paul's albatross contract for the number 3 pick.
So you get James Harden,
right?
And you get Chris Paul. Now that eats up all your cap space, right?
Right.
That eats up all your cap space. You get James Harden, and you got Chris Paul.
Right.
I mean, it makes you better. It instantly makes you better.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure because
I'm basing this though on the fact that KD is in the bag. Everything I say to you is KD is in the bag first.
Right. But how? But
and then everything else is after that.
So if KD is in the bag, you would have to trade. So it couldn't just be the number 3 pick because you're gonna have to, because you're talking about Chris Paul making $38 million. I think James Harden's still making about $38 million.
James Harden makes 33, but I understand what you're saying.
Something like that. So you got you got to find a way to fit all of that. On your roster.
Right?
So next year, Chris Paul's 38, James Harden is 38 next year. Both of them is 38. So that's $76 million right there. If you've already signed KD, you can absorb the contract of one of those, possibly, or some of one of those. Then you got to do some other trades to get the other guy in. And now you really don't have no money to bring nobody else in, but you got two top 5 players, and then and then a point guard.
In decline, right? I understand.
But you got KD. In decline, but you got KD and you got James Harden.
Yeah, right.
Now,
would a say with a veteran past their prime, say an ex All-Star, signed on for the vet minimum to play with Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and James Harden?
Yes, I think they
Paul
would.
Millsap.
Without a doubt.
Would Paul Millsap sign with the Knicks for the vet minimum?
Paul Millsap? I don't think Paul Millsap. He's not a free agent this year, is he?
I think so, but I'm not sure. I think so.
Let me see. Paul Millsap. I think Paul Millsap is still. He signed a pretty big contract. Paul Millsap. He has a team option for 19-20. So depends on if the Nuggets take his option. If the Nuggets decline his option, but he'd be going from $30 million down to like 1 point something million.
Right.
Or whatever that meant. I don't know.
It depends on his number of years in the league. So it'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood about seven mil, something like that. Because but you understand my point, though.
I understand your point, though.
Right. Would a JaVale McGee sign for the vet minimum to play with the Knicks?
JaVale would definitely. JaVale would definitely do it.
So that's my point. So it's a lot of maneuvering, but the cap is $109 million, right? Yeah. So if we can do the trade and have it come under $109 million, that would probably mean we'd have to trade away a few of those young guys in order to do that deal with Houston. But it's an option, like you mentioned the other day. Instead of closing the door on everything, we could at least explore options because we have the flexibility.
You can explore all your options, man.
Right.
Let me get around. Let me get around and see what OG Mark is talking about. I don't know if Houston is giving up all of that. I don't know if Houston is giving up James Harden. I mean, is that possible to do? Yeah, but you're selling. I mean, you're giving up almost everything off of your roster. Then you got to try to fill out the roster. Let me see. OG Mark, what's cooking? And
hey, what's happening?
And let me see. Raven Nick said NBK falling off. Nah, man, we're not falling off. Crazy. I mean, we just talking here, bro. We just talking stuff. You know what I mean? We not. He said, are we falling off? We ain't falling off, man. We just talking, man. We just coming up with stuff because anything, seriously though, the way the NBA is today, the NBA is like the wild, wild west, man. Anything, you never know what can happen in the NBA. Is like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, and it's all going on behind our backs.
Wild stuff goes on. You know what I mean? But OG Mark, man, is Frank Ntilikina gonna be here? And is there anything in Houston that you want?
Ntilikina, honestly, I would really like to see him last with us. I think getting rid of players before they hit their fourth season, especially when they're so young, I'd like to see him be a little bit more consistent with his offense and shooting the floor. But I think that if we give him a little bit more time, grow into that Hulk body he just built. I mean, he's been bulking up. I think he's got the right mindset, and he seems to have been able to take the roller coaster ride that New York has put him through. But in the end of the day, would I be willing to trade him? Sure. Who would I take? You said from Houston. It ain't going to be Chris Paul. It ain't going to be Chris Paul. I don't know why. He's another player I have a little trouble with, only because I just think he's a hard player to play with. I think he's another hard teammate. And I'd really rather not go there. But who do you like?
I mean, it's not too many people that I'm interested in. I think.
Yeah, I mean, they got Harden, but they're not going to trade him.
Like with what Freezy was saying, if they did some kind of crazy deal like that, I guess if you're an NBA GM, maybe you feel like you have to do it. If that's on the table, you might feel like you have to do it. In my heart of hearts, I don't feel like Chris Paul and James Harden are really a good match together. Right? Chris Paul, I feel, needs to have the ball in his hands to run the basketball team. And then James Harden obviously needs to have the ball in his hand. I really want to see the Knicks, if they're not going to get Kyrie Irving. I want to see them look for some other options. I'm really interested in Jrue Holiday. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Right. I'm really interested in Jrue Holiday and what he brings to the
Russell.
table. Or D'Angelo Russell. If now, he's a restricted free agent. I think
could work that out.
I think for the most part he's going to be with the Brooklyn Nets. But I am really interested in Jrue Holiday. If Jrue Holiday, I'm gonna tell you how much he makes, right? Bringing it up right now. Well, first I tell you what he averages, then I tell you how much he makes. Jrue Holiday, we talked about this in the last stream. 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7.7 assists, 47% from the field, only 32% from three. He had an effective field goal percentage of 52%. He plays defense, right? He's a good defender. He also, his salary, now, if you got a Jrue Holiday, it's going to be kind of long-term too. But his salary, to me, is a little more doable. He made $26 million this year. He makes $26.1 in 2019-20, 26.1 in 2021. Then he has a player option in 21-22 for $27 million. You know what? That's not too bad. Now, let's say you get Kevin Durant, and then you trade and you absorb Jrue Holiday's contract, right? That leaves you with a couple more $1 million to sign another player, or if you want to make a trade for a third player, make a trade for a third player, right? Let's say, for example, the Knicks do trade for Anthony Davis, right? You get Kevin Durant, you trade for Anthony Davis, and then Jrue Holiday comes along in the deal, right? And because you traded for Anthony Davis, so you matched the salaries, Jrue Holiday came along in the deal, you still have some money to pay for some other free agents. So there are things like that I think can happen.
Right. This could be a lot of surprises.
Because let's put it like this, right? And I know what I said earlier about being happy if we don't get anyone and we just deal with the young guys, and I still am. But
I am too. If it really comes down to that, I agree with you.
I'd be cool with it.
Absolutely.
Right? But the Knicks have $74 million. So let's just say, okay, let's say Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is always the name. Let's say Kevin Durant is signed. Right? That's $38 million. And then you trade for Anthony Davis. So you got to match $27 million. Right? You find a way. We've worked it out before. You match the $27 million. Right? That's $27 million. 38 and 27. That's 65. That's $65 million. You still got $9 million free in cap space. Right? Well, I'm sorry. You excuse me, let me back up. You traded for Anthony Davis. So you traded for Anthony Davis, so you still got 30 whatever million dollars. 38, you still got $36 million that you can use. Jrue Holiday, you absorb his contract. That's $26 million. Now you still got $10 million that you can get another free agent that's going to produce for you. You have $10 million to get a free agent that's going to produce for you. So let me run that back. The Knicks have $74 million. They signed KD. KD takes up 38. You got $36 million left that you can spend on a free agent. You trade for Anthony Davis, right? When you trade for Anthony Davis, the salaries you trade match Anthony Davis's salary, so it does not eat into your cap space. So now you still got $36 million left. You can get another player, or you can absorb Jrue Holiday for $26 million because you need a point guard, and then you got $10 million more that you can spend on another free agent. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the best possible solution for the Knicks. I'm just throwing out ideas. Everyone, like Nate was talking about Dame Lillard, talk about Chris Paul, but there's other ways, there's other creative ways to fill this team and fill out your roster and still be able to compete on the championship level, in my opinion. You just got to be creative in the way that you use your money. You know what I mean? And it's not always about the big names. It's not always about the big names.
Where this, if I could jump in here, the thing where it really messes me up, where I kind of fall off, I'm with the whole Kevin Durant thing. I'm with Kyrie Irving, and I really do believe he's coming to the Knicks. And if anybody backs out, it would be the Knicks, like I said, going for Kemba earlier. But now when we get to the third part of this Kajanga, Anthony Davis, this is the part that I sweat, because he's going to have to do some kind of a sign and trade, because this 1-year contract with Anthony Davis, I'm not rolling with it. I would rather pass on the deal. I need him either long term or not at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you feel about,
definitely.
How do you feel about that?
You got to sign him. I mean, here's the thing: if you trade for Anthony Davis, bottom line is Anthony Davis is going to opt out in 2019, 2020. He has a player option in 2021. He's going to opt out in 1920 no matter what. He may verbally commit to the Knicks to sign long term, but he's probably going to opt out because he's going to be able to get more money when he opts out in 1920. You know, instead of opting into that $28 million contract in 2021, he'll be able to opt out and then be able to get, you know, a crazy wild contract. You know, so he's definitely gonna opt out no matter what.
Yeah,
the
only position I'm concerned is the Knicks exposure, and if I don't have him locked in on a long-term contract, I don't want to see my draft picks go down the road. I don't want to see my young talent get traded. I don't want to give any of it up. You know, I would rather trade for Zion. You know, I would rather do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will, but they're not going to trade for the Pelicans. Ain't moving Zion.
Well, you know, who knows? And negotiations come together. Strange things can happen. Listen, they might want RJ Barrett so bad that they get to a point where they realize they can't get him from us, and they say, listen, we've got this asset right now. Odds of him being the big explosion isn't always so great. Let's trade him and let's fleece these guys for what we can get from Zion, since they're not going to deal the farm for Anthony Davis. And if Anthony Davis wants to be a New York Knick, fall on the sword for us, spend another year, I don't care where. He could play in summer camp, or he could stay there or get traded to the Celtics. I don't care. But when it's done, then come to the Knicks and sign. This way we don't have to fleece all our players.
I mean, I get
and
that,
all our picks.
But I can't. I get that, but I can't put that on the player, though. In my opinion, I can't put that on the players to say I'm going to forego a major contract, right? I'm going to forego this major contract.
I'm not asking him to.
So that I can help the team.
I would say see you after this following season, or not.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
It's as simple as that. I'm not going to clear out my chips. It's like being at a casino and getting snappy and jumpy and throwing everything in. You know, you have to feel it, and it just doesn't feel right when you put this deal together when there's no long-term commitment, where it's not a good business deal. It's just on broken legs. If this kid wakes up with split ends one day and is pissed off, he could take our future down and split.
Well, I mean, he could. It's the same exact thing that Toronto did with Kawhi Leonard, right? They took the chance, they rolled the dice with Kawhi Leonard. They traded away an all-star guard and whatever else they traded away to get Kawhi Leonard. They rolled the dice, hoping that he's going to sign long-term after this season. Yeah.
Yeah, and we all shall see. And we'll see. And if he's there for one season and they won the title, great. But I'm not going to build a business model around the Kyrie Irving thing, because he's a machine. He's a cyborg.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let me get around, man, because we coming down to the end of the show. All right. Ernesto, I was trying to come to you earlier. You there, Ernesto?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, son?
Yeah, man. We just we kind of winding up now. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of winding up the show where we'll talk about Frank Ntilikina, whether or not he's going to be here at the end of the, at the beginning of the next season. So we'll kind of wind it down, man. What do you feel about that? And just maybe give us your last words, Nick.
Well, on Frank, I like Frank a lot, so I'm not trading Frank unless I get like a top 20 first rounder. And then I have to have a player that's still on the board, which I really like. Because, like I said before, I mean, the Knicks have done the worst job possible with Frank's development. So to label him a bust, that's a big mistake. The kid has all his future still ahead of him. I think he's going to be a really good player. When it's all said and done, he's going to be a really good two-way player. And no, I'm not trading Frank. I mean, again, they have to give me a first rounder, and it has to be top 20, and I have to have a player still on the board that I really like more than him. So that's my thought process with Frank.
Right.
And D'Anthony Davis, again, I'd rather wait 1 year instead of gutting the entire roster, just like Mark OG was just mentioning. He's going to be a free agent, so one more year. If we can wait one more year and not have to gut our entire roster plus a bunch of picks, I'm all for it, man. Because we're not going to go from 1 year. We're not going to go from basically a 17-win team to a championship team. It doesn't happen. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
There's steps that need to be taken. So if we have to wait an additional year to get AD, that's the best move possible.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. That would be the best move possible because then you wouldn't have to give up. I don't know if it would depend. It would depend. If you filled your cap space with 2 players, then he wouldn't be available to you. So we'll see how it's gonna go, man.
Griffin, the new GM over there with the Pelicans, he's trying to convince Anthony Davis to stay on board. And let's see how it goes. I mean, let's see. Yep. If Anthony Davis tells Griffin, look, I don't care what you do, but at the end of the year, regardless of how it goes, I'm leaving. If he tells them like that, because they're supposed to be having a meeting in LA.
Yeah.
So if he tells them straight up, look, I'm gone either way. I'm not staying. I just don't want to be in New Orleans. I want to be in a big market. That's my goal. If that's AD's, then it's going to force his hand. Then he's going to have to really start listening to offers But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
Everything's in the air, man. Everything.
Hey. All right, Ernesto, man. I'm out of here. I'll be back on Friday. Have a great rest of your week.
I'll catch you guys, man. Shout out to the chat out there.
I appreciate you, man. Peace. And G.
Yo. What Ernesto and OG Mark was saying, it sounds good in theory. But it doesn't really work because KD isn't coming here by himself, and if we take that approach and we wait till the summer, Anthony Davis isn't coming here with nobody else not being here. So that approach doesn't really work. That's why that the situation we're in is kind of catch-22 because we have to make a decision. Who do we really want? And KD and AD, KD, AD, Kyrie, we have to make a decision this summer. Because I feel like if we wait till next summer and then try to pursue Anthony Davis, we're not getting him. We're not getting him. So you have to get him in the house this summer with, a couple other guys or Anthony or Kevin Durant, and then you have almost a guaranteed shot of re-signing him next summer. That's the only way we get Anthony Davis, in my opinion. So,
I think I agree. I think I agree with you there. It kind of, the same thing happened with the Lakers and Paul George, right?
Yeah.
He went to OKC, then he, now he's in Oklahoma.
We can't wait because he can look at next summer because Kawhi, the thought is Kawhi would go to the Clippers by himself. So he can just wait till next summer and say, shoot, I'll just sign with the Clippers next summer and play with Kawhi in Los Angeles. I can go, play with LeBron in LA. He doesn't have to come to New York and play with Kevin Knox and RJ Barrett. So if we're going to get him, we got to do it this summer. So, this summer is, it's going to be real pivotal for the franchise. After this summer, I feel like the direction will be crystal clear. If we don't get these guys, we know we got a 5-6 year, run ahead of us, like a journey ahead of us. If we do get these guys, then that whole build slowly, that all goes out the window and it's time to go for it. So, that's what makes this summer so, polarizing and, exciting, because it can go. We at the crossroads right now, son, man. It's scary though, but we'll see what happens, man. But
yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. All right, Ant. I'm heading out for the night. It's almost 2 a.m. So we gotta get out of here. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.
Oh, Freezy, you want to give us a couple last words, Big Freezy?
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to the show, man. I know we talk a lot of Knicks stuff, but I want to shout out the show because over the past couple of weeks, I've been seeing like a lot of Knicks content shows all over, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I continuously hear about this show is that it's like a fan favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like a Knicks fan actually has some say. Like you can actually have your thoughts and fandom recognized on this show. So I wanted to give you a shout out, for that. I mean, we can talk Knicks all summer, but the one main point that I want to stress, and it's very important, is that there's a bunch of shows and they're continuously popping up with so-called experts and so-called insiders and all that stuff. But shout out to Sim and the chat and all the loyal fans that come back 3 or 4 times a week and chop it up about Knicks stuff. Because the one thing you can't replicate or not replicate, but the one thing you can't fabricate is real fandom.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Shout out to everybody that participate and that's loyal to the show. Man, spread the word, everybody, man, and so that we can get more and more, because we're basically doing a disservice not spreading the word to people that are looking for something like this show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're looking all over the place trying to find a show like this and can't find it, and we're not we're not spreading the word. So man, just spread the word, man. Share it. Yeah, man. But look, man, it's late, man. I'm out of here. I'll holler.
It is late, man. It's 2 a.m.
Friday, man. Yeah,
all
man.
right. Appreciate it, Freezy.
Man. All right, later.
And definitely, man, it's always going to be about the fans, man. Because, look, without the fans, there's no Knicks, really. Right? We support the team. Without the fans, there's no Knicks. So that's why we're always going to give the fans a voice. And sometimes those voices are outrageous. And sometimes those voices are sensible, and sometimes we're going to argue. I know everybody's seen a few arguments on this show, but hey, it's cool. OG Mark, give us your last words, bro.
Yeah, I think that we cover a lot of ground, in a show for Knicks fans. It's really good. It's informative, and it gives us a place to congregate and bounce our thoughts off of each other. And it's funny, like you were just saying just before we was, these other shows and like I put them on, I listen to them because I'm a Knicks addict. And if anybody's talking anything about the Knicks, I'm listening, right?
Of course.
But it's like the things that they talk about, we've already been there, done that. And not only that, we've triangulated it about 4 other ways that they didn't even get a chance. And they keep cutting the commercial. And they, you know what I mean? They cutting the commercial left, right, and center, and they're coming back. And I'm thinking, why am I, putting myself through this? And I'm thinking of all the stuff that they missed. And this is like, a real grassroots conversation,
That's it. That's it.
Like your podcast, Front Stoop, it's like people getting to express directly to each other. So I think all these things are really good. But, your program is a favorite of mine for sure.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. We're trying to keep it 100% fan centric. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but did you notice how we've triangulated like 9 different ways, and they're just like hey, what if Anthony Davis? No, hear me out. You know, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Like, we've gone through everything.
Listen, we come up with some crazy stuff. Some of this stuff could work. So I hopefully Scott Perry and them guys be listening, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of plates spinning. I think that we're going to have some surprises. I think it's going to be great. But the one thing I'm feeling really solid about is I really feel like Durant's coming, you know? And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But I really feel like he is, you know?
Okay.
But I don't want to clean out the closet to get Anthony Davis here. I'd rather get Kawhi Leonard and, Kyrie Irving and KD. I'd rather something like that. And let AD wait a year so we don't have to fleece our picks and our young talent and first rounders. You know, I hope they come out of that meeting. If they come out of that meeting with Zion Williams, I'll be happy.
I mean, I think we all would.
How do you like that for an Indian leg wrestling match?
There you go.
All right?
All right,
now,
man.
everybody go look up Indian leg wrestling.
All right, OG Mark.
All right, man. Be
Appreciate
good. We'll see you
man.
next show. Take care. Bye-bye. Who's Mark? Take care, buddy.
Peace. Who's Mark?
Sam, what I told you.
Finish it off, bro.
What I told you about your show. Don't sell yourself short, right?
No, we ain't selling it short, man.
Don't sell yourself. And listen, how many people watching right now? 500?
We got about 400 people still on.
Okay,
people start signing off. They start signing off.
So to all the people in the chat, this is all I want y'all to do. When y'all go to those other bogus shows, steal they fans, tell them to come through here, man. This is where you want to be. This is the spot. This is the joint, okay? This is the corner. This is the stoop. You heard? We listen, man, listen. They ain't talking Knicks the way we talking Knicks. They don't got the personality that we got here. Okay? They ain't got the real. Okay? This ain't ESPN. This ain't FS1. This is Get It. This is a hood show / Knicks show. Okay? A little bit of hood.
That's it.
A little bit of professional.
little mixture. Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? But Sam, like I said, don't sell yourself short, man. Cause look, 500 tonight. I seen 500 tonight. Listen, man, when the summer gets bubbling,
what was about there?
I was watching the numbers. It was
last show, we just missed 1,000 last show. We was at like 996. A couple shows before that, we was up to 1,300. Wait till we do that free agency show. It's gonna jump.
Oh God! Like I said, ain't no other
free agency show is gonna jump.
Ain't no other show out here showing real love, making people express themselves, and people feel young when I feel young when I come to this show. I feel like I'm in a happy land when I come to the show. This is what it should be about, bro. This is what it should be about. So I want everybody in the chat, when y'all go to these other streams and pump faking, tell them to get out of there and come here, man. You already know what it is, Sam.
I feel you, my man. I feel you. I'm heading
Come on,
off.
man. Stop the fake, man.
2:03 in the morning. We've been on 3 hours, but I hadn't been on for a little while, so I'm sure there's a lot of people we need to talk about. You know what I mean? But I'll be back on Friday night, man. Be back on Friday night so we can chop it up again. Oh, but I'm gonna be on the front stoop tomorrow night too. Tomorrow night we're gonna be on the front stoop. On the front stoop tomorrow night, we are going to talk about dang, I had it now. Best diss songs of all time. That's what we on tomorrow night, man. Best diss songs of all time. We're gonna kind of do a review of the week in hip hop. And then we're going to talk about the best diss songs of all time. So it should be a pretty dope show. I'm going to have some of those songs queued up so we can listen to them a little bit. So it's going to be a pretty dope show. Best diss songs of all time tomorrow night on the front stoop. Yeah, and this week, I'm going to be putting out a video this week about, listen up, y'all. Right now is the time, if you do not own stock in Madison Square Garden, now is the time to own it, right? It's about $300 per share, but you don't have to buy one share for $300. You can buy portions of a share, but I'm going to do a video about it, show everybody how to do it if you don't know how to do it. A lot of you guys already do. I'm looking to have that done this week, and so, you guys go out there, purchase some of that stock, because if the Knicks do get KD and we had the kind of summer, that stock is gonna go up. It's gonna jump again. You know what I mean? And you can make a little bit of money there. So anyway, I'm out of here, man. Mark, hopefully I see you tomorrow night, man.
All right, bro.
All right, peace.
Peace.
And Knicks fans, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you get a notification anytime that I'm live and drop a video or whatever it is. Just ring that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel. You can do it right now. So once you get off, you can do it right now. You can join me tomorrow night on the Front Stoop. All right, if you go into YouTube and type in the Front Stoop, ; Hip Hop Society Life, right? You'll be able to join us on the Front Stoop, right? Where we talk hip hop, society, and life. You know what I mean? We have a lot of good conversations in there, man. So, make sure you check us out. I think you'll really like that show. All right, it's called, again, I'm about to put the link in the chat. All right, because I'm gonna just put the link in the chat so you can get to it. I know that you will like the show. You will enjoy the show. You can go check out some of the older, some of the older videos that we had. All right, go check it out. But we'll be on tomorrow night. We're talking the greatest diss songs of all time. There's a lot of them out there. Some dope songs out there. But go ahead, subscribe to the Front Stoop. Subscribe to Nothing But Knicks. And I'm out of here. Ace.